Hey guys, welcome back to the Triple Scoop. Sorry it's been a while. We had some vacation, we had some illnesses, we had some Halloween festivities, but we're back with a 2-hour episode, kind of wrapping up our October delights with some fears and nightmares. So enjoy. Nice. Ooh, welcome back to the Triple Scoop. Pew, 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 pew. It's been a while. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks due to busy schedules and sickness.
Yes.
We were boo, sickness, boo. We meant to record like 4 last week, but
we were all sick.
Diane and I had like a really nasty cold, and Greg had the poopies. Mr. Poopy Pants. Poopy Pants Greg. His name is Poopy Pants Greg. As always, my wife Diana is with me, of course.
Yes.
And to my right is Poopy Pants Greg. Mr. Poopy Pants Greg. He's got poopy pants.
Yeah, we're going to start this one.
No, we're not. Not at all. Yeah. It's Greg, everybody. Greg's here. So we're trying to keep with the theme of spooky.
For our last episode.
I know. It's the one where everybody stops listening.
So we're trying to stick with the October-ish theme of scary, spooky podcasts. So obviously we've talked about ghosts already, and that one actually was really well received. Have you talked to anybody about that?
No, actually I did. I did get some feedback.
Yeah,
so it was good.
Yeah, people think it's awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of people agreed with.
Good stories.
You did?
Ooh,
spooky.
Yeah.
Ooh, welcome
Scared the
back.
Shit out of you.
Me?
Yeah. You had to shriek and.
Oh yeah.
Try and deflect your fear.
Yeah, no, I totally did.
Yeah.
So anyway, in keeping with the continuously spooky October theme, today's main podcast is about fears and nightmares.
What?
That's not even fitting.
What? The Star Wars
you
thing?
With Star Wars?
I'm not even sure if you can do that.
Because I'm like, it's spooky, and it's not spooky at all. It's fucking Star Wars. Yeah. It's fears and nightmares is what we're doing. Cue the scary music.
You were doing it ironically?
It was an ironic thing. Fuck you guys. How about that? Fuck you both. I guarantee I got a laugh somewhere out there. And if not, that one was just for me.
Huh?
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, fears and nightmares. So kind of a broad spectrum.
I feel like they're related.
Well, yeah. You fear stuff, and then you have nightmares about what you fear.
Yeah.
Do you have a recurring nightmare? Either of you?
I used to. Yeah. Mine was like I used to, and then I got to the final boss, and I never have again.
Oh.
Yeah, it was weird.
There's it ramped up really hard.
Progression type of thing.
So, I don't know why it was this particular dream, but let me set the picture for you. So it was, I'm running through, I'm like a cop.
Sounds like a nightmare already.
Stupid. I'm like a cop running through like a dense apartment structure at sundown. And I'm running through room after room, and I'm chasing somebody. And I don't know who I'm chasing, but I'm chasing someone. And it's almost like it's really hard to describe. It's like it's sundown. It's like that time of day where it's like dusk, but the sun is really like that hard red sun is against all the buildings. You know what I'm saying? Like the sides of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'm chasing someone through these apartment buildings, and I have no idea who I'm. What are you laughing at?
Your face.
Stupid. I have no idea who I'm chasing, so I've had this reoccurring nightmare, but it's like a tense thing. It's like me chasing someone, but I'm in danger, right? Yeah. Even though I'm the one doing the chasing. And it was like 2 years ago, I'm going through the apartment building again, and I get to like the kitchen of one apartment building, and I stop.
Like an apartment or an apartment building?
An apartment inside the apartment building. So keep in mind, I'm like frantically going room to room, just sprinting through these apartments, chasing someone. And I stop, and there's like an island in the kitchen, and I look out the window, and like I can still see like that hard red sun on the sides of the buildings. And then all of a sudden, everything just gets really like slow, like it was on a dim switch, like really, really dark, but not like just dimming a switch and the light gets dark. I mean, like it was getting like pitch black around me. And then finally I looked like straight down, like because I was like freaked out, and all of a sudden I felt like a presence right in front of me. Like I don't know what it was, but it was like a person in like a trench coat, and I still hear it in my voice or in my head, and he just said, "You don't know me."
Yikes.
And I woke up fucking instantly.
Yeah.
I can still hear
Heart
it.
racing?
Oh God, I was like, but no, when I woke up, it was like, I don't know you. Like that's what I said.
Yeah.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
But it legitimately scared the absolute bejesus out of me.
So was that the culmination?
Yes,
of it?
that was it. It was like I had that dream a lot.
So you were running, and you never got to
chasing something.
Okay.
Never
so
caught
it. Was
it.
Always just
and then
running.
I finally seemed to catch it, and everything went dark, and it just confronted me and said, "You don't know me."
And you've never had the nightmare again?
Not once.
Weird.
Fucking weird. I can still hear it.
How long would you say since they started till you got finally to the end?
Few years.
Few years? I guess this is the first time hearing of
this. Because it scared the shit out of me. I don't like that. Like, it may not sound like as scary, like, when I tell it, but I'm telling you right now, it was like...
In the feeling,
puts the fear in you.
Well, I mean, it was a dream, so it was very, what is it, lucid? Is that the word?
Yeah.
It was very, very real. And it was very... That's like, I don't wake up very often, like you know what I mean? Like, like, I don't wake up like that. Hardly literally ever. Like, there's only like a couple of times in my life where I can remember doing that, and that's one of them. And yikes.
I had a couple of recurring nightmares. One of them happened a lot when I was a kid. On Honeysuckle down, like on the way towards Honeysuckle Beach, after you could turn right to go out to the boathouse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Out around that way. And before the Dyke Road, there's this... I knew you were going to do that. There's this...
I've done that since I was like 10. Come on.
There's this like green canopy. It kind of looked like the top of a barn, but there's no walls. This is real. That's actually there. But it's important because that's where this recurring nightmare always happened. And I was in the back seat of like an older Cadillac, and no one else is in the car. The car is driving itself, and the steering wheel, the stick shift, everything is made out of bone.
Oh.
So I'm in the back seat, and it's like very slowly going, and you see the wheel kind of teeter back and forth, like someone's keeping it centered. It's always night. We're always by that green canopy with the orange like street light type of thing.
The thing that says slow down or whatever. And that's you just are driving.
Yeah, towards the lake.
Towards the lake.
Oh, so it's like it's gonna drive into the lake, and you're trapped in there.
I always wake up. Other recurring nightmare I used to have, I was in my parents' old house, and I would be like on their couch, laying to where, so they had the couch, and if you were a certain way, you could see into the computer room, and I would always be on the couch. Everything is dark except for an old lady's face that was paper white, and her eyes were black, and she had like black tears running down, and like a crazy white hair all out, and like a black nightgown.
On the computer screen or just in the room?
No, standing, staring at me.
Oh.
That's like the most PG nightmare that Greg has ever had.
I know, right?
And like I can't move, and she's just like staring through me. It's pretty fun. That used to happen a lot, and not for a while.
Huh.
Sit somewhere comfortable and get yourself something cold to drink, because Greg is gonna go into the nightmares that he's told me about that he's had, and it is fucked up. It touches nothing of mine.
I feel like I'm like what's less than JV over here, like with my like comparison to Greg.
8th grade.
Yeah. I'm the B team. My recurring nightmare, and I haven't had it in a long time, but it was a lot when I was younger. I'm in an elevator shaft, but specifically the one at the Valley Mall. So in the center of the Valley Mall, so it has the stairs going around it, and it has the glass sides. It's not full glass sides, but it has like the windows on the sides. And it's only 2 stories, and I'm in the elevator shaft, and I'm at the bottom, and the elevator's coming down, and it's gonna squish me.
Mm.
I know.
I don't like that, yeah.
So, do you have a fear of being like crushed by something?
Not that I.
Claustrophobia or anything like that?
I'm not. No, I tend to like small spaces.
She does.
Interesting.
I do. I used to sleep in my walk-in closet when I was younger.
Nice.
Because it was cozy.
She really does like being in like little tiny spaces.
Yeah, I do. It's comforting.
I don't really mind it unless I like feel like I can't move. That freaks me out.
I have to be comfortable. Like if it's too tight of a space that I'm
full range of motion is almost the most.
Yeah. Like small spaces is a relative.
Like if you climb into something and you realize you can't turn around, that freaked me out.
Yeah.
It was not really a nightmare, but Diana and I woke up like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. We hadn't had a kid yet, and we had a kid yet, didn't we?
We had a kid.
No, we had. It was like our son was like 3 or 4 months old or something like that, and we had brought a balloon home from someone else's from someone else's birthday party. This. It was across the house, 30 feet in through a long hallway into another room around a corner. In the corner of his room, woke up the next morning and it was floating stationary right next to me.
Yep.
Fuck that.
Not moving at all.
I don't know, like a 3 feet high too, like.
Oh, like a child's holding it.
Yeah. Never thought of it that way.
Literally stuck there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It took me.
So you like wonder what's like staring at you, while it's holding it.
Yeah.
Oof.
Diana woke me up. She's like, "What the hell's that about?"
Fuck that.
I look at it and I'm like, "Yeah, that's fucked up." But I mean, it's
you pop it?
No, it's one of those things that's like so scary that it's not scary. Like it's like, oh well, that's fucking just great. There's like just. Something.
What'd you do?
I conducted an experiment. I put the balloon back where it was, exactly where it was, because it was kind of running out of helium. And so I put it right back where it was, and I just waited. I just waited and watched it, studied what it did. Actually, because I don't know, it was because of the heater or whatever, the vents in the house.
Yeah.
It traveled, and you could tell I was licking the old finger and putting it up to see where the wind was coming from or the air. The air pushed it out, and I told Diana, I was like, look, like it just started happening. We followed it down the hall. Totally like everything, but you could tell that it was the air.
Yeah.
No. Carried it straight to our room.
You could, because we kept it for a few more days, and when we got
conducted experiment.
Yeah, when we got home from work, it would be in different parts of the house.
Yeah. So that explains it.
That's super uncomfortable.
Oh, believe you me. Yeah. Oh, waking up after a nice night's sleep.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, well that's a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell your favorite story about being woken up abruptly?
This fucking bitch.
Okay, this is going to be a two-parter. It's going to start with Matt's version of the story, and then it'll conclude with
Didn't you have a nightmare?
My version of the story. Not
or
really.
You were having a dream.
It was a dream.
I'm laying there, middle of the night, minding my own business, sleeping, right? Mm-hmm. As you do.
Sleeping.
I don't think this is funny at all. I'm just lying there, and I feel the blankets kind of moving a little bit. Like I must have been like half asleep enough to like kind of know what was going on. And I feel the blankets kind of moving off me a little bit. And I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. This one, full speed, full force, kicks me in the leg with and it hurt. It was like, honestly, like if you're playing kickball at school and you wind up and kick it, it was about that hard. I was like, what the fuck is your problem? And this one, she was so embarrassed. As soon as when she kicked me, she woke up, and as soon as she pretended to be asleep.
Yes.
I'm seriously on the bed like, what the fuck is your problem? She pretended to be asleep the whole time.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, real fantastic. I'm like, why would she just kick me? It like messed with my head. And I'm like shaking her. She's like, what? I'm like, you kicked me. She's like, she pretended.
Oh, man.
Go with your version of this stupid story.
My version is that I was half asleep because I was in this dream state, but I don't have anything visual to remember. But I do remember I was laying on my side, and I was laying on my right side, so my left leg, I felt my knee bend and my leg to kind of cock back, and the last thing I remember is my leg cocking back. The next thing I remember is toes and the top of my foot connecting with Matt's shin.
It hurt.
And as soon as they connected, I was like still laying there, and I go, oh shit. like in my head, that's what I said. I was like, oh jeez, I'm in trouble. And I was like, oh god, okay, just lay here, pretend to be asleep. And I hear him like, I didn't remember exactly what you said, but I hear you like shout and be like, what the? And like, kind of.
Spoiler alert! It was what the fuck. It hurt.
I bet.
You're in your most vulnerable state.
I did it hard. I know.
Yes, you did.
Hard. And I remember him shaking me, and I did what, like pretended.
Well, because it's not uncommon for her to be like kind of a blanket hog, and like sometimes she'll like pull him real hard or something like that if I'm like hogging him or whatever. If she doesn't think like I need blankets anymore, she'll say and she'll be kind of grumpy in the middle of the night. But this was like another level. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah.
I did fess up later.
The
next day.
Oh yeah, not even the next day. It was like 2 or 3 days later.
It was relatively.
Like, do you remember kicking me last night?
I'm like, oh yeah.
She's woken up like pissed at me before because she has a dream that I left her, or like she was like driving to.
Oh, you do that too.
Because she was driving to like Super One and like she saw me like in a convertible with like another girl and like yeah. And she was like, I just woke up, I was so fucking pissed at you. And like I'll wake up or whatever, like around when these things happen, she'll just stare at me, just. It's like I was watching you sleep this morning. I just hated you so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah, real amazing, dude. I didn't even do anything.
Yeah.
Like I wake up, it's like that meme where that girl's like looking over at her boyfriend or whatever while he's like turned the other way in bed. Yeah. And she's like, I bet he's thinking of other women. And he's like thinking of like, gosh, how do I beat that robot on level 16? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's basically just like that.
Yeah.
I have boatloads of stories of you talking in your sleep.
Oh yeah.
Waking me up.
I'm a sleep talker.
Yeah,
creepy.
But it's not regularly. Like
a laugher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also creepy.
Yeah.
And my sister said, stupid.
Fuck that.
I don't know how they sound.
My sister says that her husband does it when he plays certain video games, and I haven't really been able to like tie it
never really tied that
to your occasions.
He's a Jew.
Stupid.
He's Jewish.
Shout
out, shalom.
Hey.
Get that challah bread.
There have been times that I've woken up and Matt just like, and I'm just like,
it's because I'm always hitting them jokes in my sleep.
And then there have been times where there's just mumbling, and then they'll start with like a word, and I'm like, yeah, or like I say, are you awake? And then it's like indistinguishable mumbling.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite situations were not that long ago, but it was
Greg.
Stupid.
Well, we're gonna call it here.
Oh, Greg.
That has not happened yet.
Yeah. Mr. Poopy Pants, Greg.
Stupid. No, I woke up in the middle of the night to a weird sound, and for whatever reason, I thought Matt was like scratching at the headboard for some reason, because we have a fabric headboard, and I kind of like woke up and I look, and Matt's laying on his back and he's rubbing his hands together, and rubbing his hands together is making this kind of squishy sound, and he's just, and I go, what are you doing? No response, and I'm like, Matt, what are you doing? And he stops doing it, and he goes, what? I'm climbing the ladder above our bed.
Wow. Like in your sleep you said that? That's amazing.
And I was legit
I was having like
what?
a really cool dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember this at all, but I remember that story being told.
Yeah.
I had a friend, we'd all party.
Thank goodness I was just rubbing my hands together, huh? That would have been an awkward bust.
we'd all usually pass out downstairs in my parents' house, and so like they had like 4 couches basically, and one of our friends, he'd always fall asleep earlier than most because he was usually more fucked up than most.
Emotional language, please.
He would so he'd be laying there, and we're all like people like playing Madden or just bullshitting or whatever, and he would just like shoot straight up. He'd be like, so what are we doing tonight, guys? And like do one of these and like look around, and we're all like, are you okay? And he'd be like, yeah. And then he'd just lay back down, dead,
oh my God.
dead asleep.
I think I've done
that
before.
And then he'd piss himself.
Oh, I haven't done that.
There was,
Good job.
That was a turn at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
What was the second? What was the second one that you remembered me talking in my sleep?
Oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now. Do you remember? Do
I?
Yeah. Do you remember me telling you stuff? I'm drawing.
I just know that I laugh a lot in my sleep.
Yeah.
I'm a jovial person. Right?
There have been times where you've talked in your sleep and like it was like happening a lot, like within a short period of time, that you would do it and I'd be like, shut up.
Like common enough to be like, oh jeez.
Yeah, again.
Yeah.
So me and my ex, we watched Conjuring 2, and that night, only time in our entire relationship.
What was his name?
She like out of nowhere just throws an arm straight up in the air and like mumbles something that sounded like some weird language that I've never heard before, and then like her arm falls down. And I'm like sitting there like just looking at shit on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck?
I used to get up when I was really little. Like this is before
sleepwalk.
I was 5. I wouldn't really sleepwalk, I don't think, but my parents said I would get up and like walk, take a lap in my room, and then instead of getting back into bed, I would lay on the floor next to my bed. So every morning before my dad went to work, because he used to go to work really early in the morning, he'd have to put me back in bed.
Have you ever sleepwalked?
No.
I've heard stories of where small children, like
Stop right where you are.
Elementary school age.
I don't want to hear it.
Will do it like regularly, and like there's nothing that the parents can do.
Well, yeah, because if you wake them up, that's like dangerous.
Yeah, but I've never really understood why. Why is
they could fall. They could
hold them. They weigh like 80 pounds. Get over it.
I just mean people in general. Yeah. I don't know. They always say it. That's like a thing. Don't wake up asleep.
I feel like that's an old wives' tale.
Is it? I wonder. And now I'm kind of curious.
Yeah. Let's go find one.
An old wife?
No.
But yeah, no, that shit like is crazy when like kids do weird stuff.
And now it's time for Greg's first super fucked up dream story. There's like 20 of them. Let's start with number 1, Greg.
So I'll do the dark one.
That's a good one.
So
he's told me all these, and I feel like I've been touched by Satan every single time.
So this one, in my opinion, is pretty tame. But so it's like starts out, and I'm at this table in a dark room, and I'm both at the table and I'm also watching the table from the darkness. And it's just a table in a dark room. There's a window that you can see out. It's just like blue light from like a moonlight type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't come into the room at all, and you can't see out. It's just light there, and it provides nothing to the room other than being like no light comes in. It doesn't get rid of the massive darkness around the table. There's a candle in the middle of the table, and like both my presence at the table and watching me at the table, the candle is like flickering. And every time it flickers, it'll kind of illuminate more of the darkness, and then when it closes back in, it closes in further each time, and it's kind of pulsing. And I can both versions of me, I guess you could call it, can tell that there's things in the darkness trying to get to me.
Jeez.
God. Tame.
And every time the candle flickers and it goes out further, they scatter a little bit, and then it closes in tighter, and they get closer.
Oh, jeez.
And it just keeps happening like that, and pulsing, and then it got to a point that I could hear it almost like a fast heartbeat. It was like boo 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 boo, and then I woke up. Just getting closer and closer and closer. And
That's
closer.
tame.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
Okay, well, hail the Dark Lord.
It's pretty weird.
I hear these stories from him. I honestly like
over
some of
3.5 years.
Oh yeah, over the course of that, how long I've ever known you or whatever. And he's like, oh man, I had a crazy dream last night. I was like, oh man, me too. I feel like I was skydiving, but I was still in bed. Weird, right? He's like, yeah, I was fucking touched by the Dark Lord last night. Seriously, Go on, please, because you have the best ones.
You guys ever had like end of the world dreams.
Okay, keep in mind again, this is every time I've heard one of these dream stories from Greg, it has literally started like that. Oh man, I had such a crazy dream last night. And then Greg or myself or whoever was like, oh man, me too. And then I'd be like going to this like it was the sump pump. I would go into this like ridiculous. Stop it, it's the sump pump.
I believe you. It was uncomfortable.
So I'd go into this stupid story of like not a very cool dream or whatever, but still kind of cool, like kind of crazy or whatever, like maybe an adventure or something like that, something positive and light. And then he'd be like, yeah, mine was scary too. I did such and such. So just continue. Just keep in mind every story. This is all stemmed from this kind of conversation.
Have you guys ever had like an end of the world dream?
I'm not sure.
So I've had a few. The one that stands out the most, it was parents' old house in Hayden, but instead of like Hayden outside the front door, so we had like the same like front steps and the porch, but then it was like a city. It was like New York or something. Probably not Monstropolis. And I'm with these people that I don't know, but they're on my porch, and I remember I'm like smoking, and I feel like there's just something off, like in the world. Like, why are these people near me? Who are these people? Where am I? Why is my house here? And then I see like a plane flying really high, and then I see something drop.
Nice.
And then it's
hydrogen bomb.
Yeah, and then there's just a column. It's a column of fire, like it engulfs the whole horizon, and it's just like a spinning inferno, up as far as you can see.
It sounds like Terminator 2.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, which is on the fence. Maybe you watched that movie and then you dreamt about it.
No.
Scary.
That was uncomfortable.
Crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. Do you believe the thing where you can't dream about someone that you've never met? Or that you've never seen?
That's interesting.
Like, you never make up...
That is true.
You never make up new people in your dreams. They're always some version of somebody that you know already or have seen. I heard that one time.
Would that include, like, monsters and stuff?
No, I think it just applies to like.
Wouldn't that be a cool way to detect if people weren't really people? If they were like monsters or demons undercover? You know what I'm saying? Like if you met me, but I was an undercover demon. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just here pretending to be me. Yeah. But then you have a dream about this like horrid creature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, oh yeah.
So like we perceive him as this.
Like, hey, it's me, Matt.
But then we have a dream, and it's what we perceive as Matt, but it's what he actually is.
This horrifying monster.
So you have a dream of like, say, this whole setup again.
Yeah.
But instead of you sitting here, really
oh,
the
man.
monster. Yeah.
Did you ever see Ernest Scared Stupid? Did you?
I think so.
That troll scared the absolute fuck out of me when I was a kid, and that's what I'm picturing right now. Yeah. It was like me just like, hey guys, podcasting, and then like I'm like the troll. Oh man, I just creeped myself out big time. You know what I mean though? Yeah. Isn't that kind of cool? That'd be kind of cool for a movie idea, huh?
Do you guys
copyright?
Can you guys wake yourself up if you're in a bad dream?
Yes.
How do you do it?
I don't know. I don't
think I can.
No, I always like realize that I'm in a dream.
You know what my biggest problem is?
I can't. Get out your little token and spin it.
I can't. I get sometimes, dude, and it's not even like nightmares. I get into some cool fucking dreams, and there's a lot of dreams that I have, that I've had before, and I always it's like an adventure. It's something awesome, and I never get to the end. Yeah. Literally never.
It sucks.
Never. Yeah. It's bullshit. Man, I'm upset right now because honestly, I wake up every time and be like, fuck, that was a good dream, or like I'll accidentally wake up, or this one will wake me up, or something like that. And like I'm not like outwardly, but subconsciously, I'm like, God damn it, that was a good dream. I need to go back to sleep so I can get back there.
Yeah,
and then it
happens.
Yeah. But I go back to those places all the time. See, man, dreams are crazy.
Yep.
Dreams are crazy. Think about like deja vu and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think dreams have a lot to do with that.
Because if you have you can wake yourself up like on purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I'm not even just a bad dream. But, like, if I'm just having a dream and I can actively... If that's a weird part, too, is sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is real life. I had a dream recently, actually, where I was like, okay, well, this is obviously real life. This is totally real. And then I just very calmly accepted, oh, no, this is a dream. I'm fully in a dream right now. That's not something that happens in the real world. Something that was, like, floating or something like that. That's very vague, but I'm just saying like that. There was a point where I was like, oh, yeah, this is a dream. And then at some point along the way, it was like, well, I need to get up now.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Not like I have to get up and go to work or anything, but no, it's time to get up, and I kind of opened my eyes and was back in the real world, kind of a thing.
I've had the one that sticks out in my mind is I know that I've had at least once where I'm in a bad dream and I don't like what's happening, and I'm like telling myself wake up, wake up, wake up, but like it takes a really long time. Like I remember when I do wake up, I remember being like, gosh, I've been trying to, like, I was telling myself to wake up for a really long time, and then like it's not like I was willing myself, like it just had to happen naturally, and it took a while.
Like the dream is like me getting home from work. And you're like, oh God,
wake
up. Wake up. Have you ever had a dream that's like literally your entire morning routine, start to finish?
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's the worst, but it's also crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Because you never had that?
No.
It sucks.
It's literally, I dream of waking up, doing everything, showering from start to finish, brushing my teeth, everything, even driving to work. And then all of a sudden you wake up and you're in your bed and you're like, wait a second, what the hell? It's happened several times to me. It doesn't like ruin my day. It's just like, man, did I just like go to a different dimension?
I have a severe case of mom brain to where I used to remember stuff like so well. Like I would remember everything, and I wouldn't understand how like people can't remember shit. Like, oh, who's that guy from the movie and this that. Like I'd be like, oh, why are people so stupid and stuff? And ever since I got pregnant and I had Owen, can't remember anything.
Damn.
I had a dream recently. It was like a year ago or something like that. Remember? It was our son was playing in the garage by like a trash can, and he was like on top of the trash can, and there was a tiger in the garage rafters, and the tiger was like getting ready to pounce him, so I had to save Owen and like get him out of harm's way.
Yeah.
And I told you about it the next day, and Greg's like, yeah, some dreams like mean stuff, dude. Like we should look that up. And I was like, dream about tiger. And it said something about
let's just I'm just gonna Google it because it's hilarious.
It really is fucking funny. But it's like you Google these things, and a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll actually, like, when they first wake up, they'll write down or type out in a journal what they remember about their dream, and they'll keep track of it. I might start doing that. That's actually pretty cool. There's a lot of books
on like dream studies and.
I've had some epic dreams, like some really cool, and I'll wake up like, and it's that weird like minutes after you wake up where you remember the entire thing. Like front to back, where you were, what everything looked like, people you talked to, everything.
Yep.
But then it's weird that your subconscious doesn't actively be like, wow, I was just in, it doesn't activate your frontal lobe or whatever. Exactly. It's like, wow, I was just in Narnia and I fucking talked to Mr. Tumnus and he sold me some weed and all this other stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. But instead, it's more of an acceptance of like, oh, I'm awake. That was such a nice dream. And your brain doesn't click to write it down or to convert it to store it to memory. Unless it's very like that nightmare I had or the nightmares that Greg has.
Yeah.
Something that's like really shocking or something like that. What'd you find out?
Whatever we found out before wasn't even on there.
Was it bullshit?
Or they just changed the meaning.
Meaning of tiger dream.
Maybe it was like getting attacked by a tiger or something.
Did you word it differently?
That's what I'm thinking. Because before it had to do like with like feeling inadequate.
It basically said I was a homo, yeah. No, seriously. I'm like, oh man, I bet it means something cool, and it basically told me I was a homo.
It's like, oh no, you're just it says you're a bitch.
So, yeah, it says you have erectile dysfunction or something.
Jesus. Okay, so go back to.
Here we go. To see a tiger in your dream represents an aspect of your personality that has unquestioned power. So now I have superpowers. Tigers often symbolize a problem or a powerful fear that you will absolutely do everything to avoid confronting. But we read something totally different. We read something that was
it called you a bitch.
Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
No, I feel like Greg was going somewhere asking if you can wake yourself up in a dream. Where were you like leading up to something?
Well, so yeah, like it always happens. I always realize I'm in a dream when it's a nightmare. Never when it's a good dream, which sucks because I've had it happen once where I realized I'm in a dream and a good dream, and then I was a god of that universe. It was amazing.
Damn.
It was so cool.
See, I would get to the point where it's like, oh, I'm a god, and then I wake up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do anything cool.
That one was incredible. But no, so like I'll realize that it's a nightmare and I see the things that are coming and I have to like close my eyes really hard and open my eyes really hard and keep doing that until I physically open my eyes.
That's crazy. So like literally you have to like physically cue it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I just anytime I've ever done it, I just subconsciously say, okay, wake up, kind of a thing.
My good.
I don't even say wake up. It's just a feeling that's just like.
Do this now, kind of
like
thing.
Just charge up, you know.
Yeah. My cool one. My parents' current house, and I went upstairs, and all the furniture was gone, and they had their old gross carpet, and like all of the patio furniture was inside, and there were these two dudes like at the table.
I know where this is going.
And they were smoking. They were smoking. They were ashing on the carpet.
Mm.
And so I'm like looking at him. I was like, "What the fuck? You're like, who's just smoking in my house?" And then like it clicked. And I was like, "This isn't real."
Yeah.
And I went up and punched one of them. And I don't know if you've ever punched somebody in a dream, but it always like you have like all the force, and then you get there, and it just like
Yeah.
And it's the most frustrating
true. Yep,
thing.
that's true.
So punch this guy, and he exploded into like full prism of colors.
What?
And then I was like, holy fuck. And then I did it to the other one.
Who sold you these mushrooms?
And so like I realized like I'm in a dream and I'm not waking up. I can do stuff. So I went out on the front deck and I jumped and I landed and I jumped and I got a little higher. And I was like, well, and I jumped again and then I was flying.
Oh man.
And for probably hours I was just flying around.
That's amazing.
It was incredible.
Like hours in dream time?
Yeah.
For hours
Yeah.
You were flying around in a dream.
Yeah.
You lucky bastard.
It was so cool.
I would get to the point, honest to God, where it's like, I can fly, I'm awake.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah, it was incredible. That was a tough one to wake up from.
Okay, so let's take it to the dark side. Tell us one of your scariest dreams you've ever had.
So
Tell the one that really fucked me up.
the dog one?
Ugh.
Okay.
God, this one's terrible.
So I was having a party at my old house on Pine Grove, and so like there's all these people there. There's a dog, and we're all like hanging out, having a good time, and like I'll walk through a room, and I like in my peripheral I see the dog looking at me, and I like look, whatever, don't think anything of it, and I go in the next room, the dog's in that room already, and he's staring at me.
Big dog, small dog?
Big dog, big black
like
dog.
Like a Doberman. That's what I picture.
Yeah. A little meatier than a Doberman, but
like a
more like a Rottweiler.
Yeah.
And he's just in the corner staring at me.
Fuck.
Every room I go in, we're all having a good time. There's this dog, and the whole time I don't think anything of it. And then everybody's gathered like in the living room, and the dog is in the corner staring at me again, and like so I'm like talking to somebody, and I like see the dog, and I'm trying to ignore it, and then it like clicks, like I'm in my house, that's not my dog, that's nobody's dog, why is that here? And then like I finally like meet eyes with it, and we're like locked in, and its eyes like start to pulse and turn red to the point
I fucking hate this story. He's telling me this in my office at one point. I'm just like, oh. Morning.
And they just start like pulsing and getting bigger and bigger, and like it's pulsing, and the walls start to pulse with it, and they're like starting to grow out of its head, and its like face is distorting, and it's like starting to slobber, and it's like as the eyes get bigger, every time it pulses they get bigger. The walls are everything's pulsing and spinning around the dog's face as it starts to contort into this demon, and just gets bigger and bigger. The eyes are the size of basketballs, basically, just bright red. It's now this like big black thing. No one else is there. The room is different. Then I wake up.
Yikes.
So this fucking dog injected itself into Greg's memories and like made Greg believe that the dog was supposed to be there until Greg figured out it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I know this dog. Whatever.
Yeah, it's a dog. He's
dog.
here.
He injected himself into my memories.
It's crazy.
No shit.
Very crazy.
Did you inject yourself into my memories? You son of a bitch?
No.
Is any of this even real?
How is this?
I hate that dream. God, I hate that dream. It's better for me. I'm picturing a Doberman still.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like that really mean, tough-looking Doberman pinscher, like what the Nazis used. Yeah. We don't like Nazis, of course, but their dogs are pretty cool. Okay.
I had a dream that has turned into a real life fear that has stuck with me for, how old are we? About 15 years.
What is it?
So I had this dream. It happened, I want to say when I was a junior in high school. I was on a golf course with some friends of mine, and we were at the tee box, and it was a wooded golf course. Like, there was lots of pine trees and stuff. So we were at the tee box, and then it was pretty much like a straight fairway, and then the green was there, and there was a bunch of pine trees behind the green. So I teed off, and I got the ball onto the green, and then all of a sudden, all of us kind of just like it zoomed in. It like, instead of us walking, let's walk down there, it like zoomed in, and we were all like just on the green. Well, all of a sudden, somebody else was hitting their ball and stuff, and all of a sudden, this deer walks out of the trees, the pine trees, the forest area behind the green. And then there's another one, and I turn around, and I'm not paying attention, but then all of a sudden, as I turn back around, kind of right by the flag and everything, the two deer have morphed into one. Don't laugh at me.
I've had to deal with this for years.
The two deer have morphed into one, but they have two front part of their bodies. So there's 4 legs in the front, but then it's just one body in the back. So it's 4 legs in the front, 2 heads, 2 antlers, 2 faces.
Yikes.
Like, and I'm trapped in between the 2 fronts. Like, so it's
kind
of like and they're doing the deer thing. the aggressive leg kicking with the front, and they're like trying to get me. To this day, I have a fear of deer. I hate them. They are gross. They give me the heebie-jeebies. I see one, and I just...
Oh, it's like a crippling fear.
Get skeeved out.
Oh. You'll see the most beautiful fawn with her...
No.
You will see the most beautiful fawn crossing the road with her 2 beautiful little babies with little spots on them.
Yeah.
And Diana will, like, cover her eyes.
It's better than hitting the gas, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, I'm just like, Diana, they're so cute.
No, I don't
I can understand if you see a big buck, like that's like fully related to your dream, but these are just little tiny little babies.
I seriously have goosebumps right now.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing how a dream can affect you.
Well, have you seen when animals attack?
Yeah.
They used to have those shows and stuff on. Yeah. The deer, that's what they do. Like, the deer are very vicious, and they always are the front leg kicking and hitting, and then the ramming, and it's just... Ugh.
I've been having so many plane crash dreams in the last like year. Oh, really? Not even like even like me on the plane, but like us like in like downtown Spokane, but like a very dream-like, hyper-realized version of downtown Spokane, where it's like a fucking gigantic plane will just like crash in the middle of town, and then we're like, oh my gosh, like we're so scared because it was like a really bad thing, and then in order to make sure that everyone knew things were safe, they'd shoot up another plane just to make sure everyone knew that it wasn't going to happen again. And it happens again. And I'm just like watching it like from the ground, right? Just weird stuff like that. Or like Diana and I would get on like an airplane to go somewhere. And it's like a really nice, huge, like 747 kind of style airplane. Yeah. But we'd be flying so erratic, but we'd still make it. But it was just like loop-de-loops and barrel rolls and shit. And actually, that's a lot of the ones now. I'll be on the ground, but I'll see these planes doing these impossible maneuvers in the air and like just yelling like no, because like you don't want to. Yeah. And so like these planes will like stall in midair. Like they'll take off, they'll stall, they'll try and get out of it by doing barrel rolls and like doing all these kind of tight maneuvers, impossible maneuvers, like because it's in a dream, But I'll just be like on the ground, just freaking out for that plane. Just no. It's weird. Yeah. But that's, I think, a real life experience has a good deal, because I don't like flying. That's like one of my main fears. But we took off into a tornado once, and that sounds dumb, but it's true. And can you second me on this?
Yes, it is true.
So we were in the Denver airport, and we were there was a tornado warning. And we had to hunker down in like the bathrooms at the Denver airport. This is in 2010, June 2010. And a funnel cloud was passing right over the airport, so they made everybody hunker down in the bathrooms and stuff. And so anyway, long story short, we were the first plane after the funnel cloud and the tornado warning to be back out on the tarmac, and we're back out on the tarmac, and the captain comes over the thing, and he's like, folks, the storm decided to turn around. We're going to hunker down here. We're going to wait it out. And we're like, oh, that's just fucking great. And so the plane is like wobbling back and forth. It sounds like gravel's hitting it like from at 1,000 miles per hour on like every side of the plane. And as it was like at its worst, the pilot comes over the intercom and says, folks, we see an opening. We're going to go for it. And before he even finished that sentence, the engines were up to full power. And we just straight down this is real life, by the way.
Yeah, I'd like to pause and commend you on that sound effect you just made.
Just now?
That was amazing.
Like, legitimately, though. And we go, and the whole plane's rattling, A, because of the wind, B, because of the engines.
Yeah.
So we just go screaming down the runway. I'm white knuckling it. I'm already in tears. Diana's in tears. We take off, and you know how when you first take off in a plane, you basically stay in, like, takeoff position, fucking, like, back to the seat, like, for at least 10,000, 20,000 feet. We went up for maybe 3 seconds. He immediately leveled it off. I thought right then we were going to die because I know... Well, I don't like flying, and I know every ifs, ands, or buts way about it. You don't do that at takeoff. So I thought we were going to die for sure. And then what he does is he does bank turns. And when I say bank turns, I'm talking like plane is full sideways, like forth, back, forth. I'm looking out the window. I can see tops of houses and makes and models of cars and driveways. You remember this?
I took a more close my eyes and hope for the best position in the scenario.
I saw basketball hoops and driveways. I saw, dude, it was not even a question. We were about to die. Like, we should probably have died.
I wonder how jacked those pilots were.
They probably did excellent. Or they were high on coke. And they were just like, let's fucking do it, Terry. Woo!
I guarantee one of them was a fighter pilot before.
I had to be.
Yeah.
No, but it has to be one of the worst takeoffs in aviation history.
Did you interact with them?
After we landed, I probably was like, thank you so much. But I'm dead serious, Greg. It was like, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, oh my gosh, we might die. I hope they do a good job. It was, okay, it's time. It's time to die. That's what it was. And I think that affected me in a lot of my dreams, even to this day. Because I'll be in a plane, and it won't be that violent. It won't be as violent as what we actually experienced in real life, but it'll be that same kind of feeling where it's like, oh, here it is, fucking great. And I'm telling you this right now. My mom was there. My sister wasn't there because she stayed in Denver when we got on that flight, but it was literally like our time to go. Sometimes I kind of like wonder, because I'm an introspective kind of weird thinker sometimes. Like, what did we go down? Like, is this...
Ugh.
Oh.
Like, is this the afterlife?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, you never know. Dog, I'm telling you.
You met me after, so.
Must be it, yeah. But seriously, I tell people that story, and I don't think they really fucking understand. When you're in an airliner, you're not supposed to be able to make out a Honda Civic in someone's driveway. You know what I mean? That means this fucking plane was like maybe 500 feet in the air. A 737 Southwest plane.
Can you imagine, like, going outside
and seeing this bank turn shit?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just picture that from the ground.
Yeah.
Unreal. And I think all the time about how I could see down, and if I was on the ground, what the plane would look like from the outside. And it's right the fuck there. I have no idea how these pilots did it, but they did a hell of a job.
That's crazy.
But it also scarred me for life.
I'm surprised you don't remember interacting with them after.
It scarred me for life. Yeah. I had to get on medication anytime I flew Xanax. I had to get on Xanax after I flew because I couldn't fly again after that. Yeah. But I did for our honeymoon, which was the first time we flew after that. And I was just drugged up like nobody's business.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I didn't give a shit what that plane did. Yeah. Could do barrel rolls. I don't care. Actually, they gave us like this is a total off the subject, but they gave us like a newlywed like plane celebration, like a bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
And I barely remember it, but I remember enough to where like, hey, we got some newlyweds on board. And everyone's like, oh, woo! The whole plane claps for us. And they like bring this bottle of champagne back. My eyes are like all teared up, but it's not because I'm happy for the moment. I'm drugged out of my fucking mind. And I'm just like, I kept going like, and I said, thank you so much. It was, but you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so after that, that's the experience that made me have to medicate myself to get on a plane. I don't really have to do it anymore, but honestly, and knock on wood, everyone knock on wood right now, that if you have an experience like that in an airplane with how common air travel is, I don't know, I feel like we peaked at that. Because hopefully, because that was so fucked up. We should have died, Greg. We should have. It was no question.
You know, I think the story that you would have had that would have been in the number 1 slot is comparable to a lot of other people's, like, probably worst flying stories, to where that is probably, like, worse than most people. But on average, I would say same trip also on the way to Orlando. What happened?
No, oh fuck. So we're coming in for landing in St. Louis because we went from Spokane to Denver to St. Louis to Orlando. We don't do that anymore because it's just A, that's just not an efficient way to fly. B, we were coming in for a landing, and you're kind of a new flyer, so you probably haven't had this experience, but coming in for a landing into St. Louis, this is about a year before they had that big F5 tornado.
Yeah.
And coming in for a landing, whatever, it's a little bumpy, it's summer, it's like June, it was really bumpy going in and coming out of Denver, but coming in for a landing, and we get down to the runway, and...
You're already telling the story wrong.
What do you mean?
We get down to the runway.
We had to do a touch and go.
No.
Yes, because we almost hit that other plane.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
Stupid. No, we were still in the air.
I know we were still in the air, but a touch and go, not like wheels down, but we got pretty darn low.
Okay, well, you're not telling the story right, so I'm going to tell it different.
I'll just get out of here.
So, we got down to the runway, that made it sound like...
Okay, well, we got down to where I could see the runway.
Okay.
And that's a for sure, because I am very, very, very specific about my comfort on planes when we get down to the runway.
Exactly.
Yes, I remember seeing the runway. Maybe we didn't wheels touch, but we came so close.
We definitely didn't wheels touch.
Okay, whatever.
I don't even think the landing gear was down yet.
Go ahead.
So, my least favorite thing about flying is the landings, because the stupid ass pilots tell you like a half an hour before you actually land, okay, we're going to begin our descent. Why do you have to tell me it takes approximately 7 to 10 minutes to get up to cruising altitude when you're in a plane?
Yeah.
Why does it take 30 minutes? Like, why do you have to tell me 30 minutes before we're going to be touching down?
Because you're basically going up like a rocket on takeoff.
Exactly. But still, I don't like the anticipation of being on the ground. When you tell me that, I want to be done. I want to be on the ground. So he says that, and... She's
clearly irrational, folks. My story was correct.
Whatever. And about halfway, about 15 minutes into that, we're, a good angle towards the ground, and all of a sudden, you hear engines rev, the plane turns, and then you're going up again. I'm pretty sure was like, what the fuck, out loud.
You freaked out. Well, we all freaked out, but you freaked out for sure.
Crying. I'm like, get me off this plane. Like, totally freaking out. Things level out, and we're kind of just going straight again, I guess. And captain comes over and is like, sorry about that, folks. We got a little too close to another aircraft.
Oh.
We're going to take another loop around the airport and then go in for the landing. Seriously.
We were only a few hundred feet off the ground. I could see the tower. Like, it was that close. And I remember you close your eyes and you bury your head in a pillow every time we land. So I would know, thank you.
Yeah, it was crazy.
We were, like, just about to, like, get there. And that's money time for me, because I'm very scared of takeoffs. I'm not very scared of landings.
Yeah.
Because it's always just a boom, just get down on the runway, boom. And it was in the zone where I was like, all right, there it is, let's go.
Yeah.
And it was, what I mean?
On our Disney vacation, I don't know, we were either flying into LAX or into Vegas. And
just the recent one that we did?
Yeah. The only one that we've all done.
We've been there before, is what I was asking.
And we were like in the descent, and you're like, oh, I hope we don't do a touch and go. And I was like, oh, what? Hope we don't do a what?
Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about. You don't necessarily have to, it's just called a touch and go.
But I mean, like, rationally.
And that's what I was referencing. This exact story was that's what I was referencing.
Thinking,
and you were like, oh, don't worry about it. And I was like,
well, I didn't want to freak you out.
And then we landed, and you're like, so a touch and go is.
I think I even told you what happened to us over St. Louis. Yeah. Because literally, it's the most uncomfortable feeling. Because like, think about just the air pressure and just like how your like ears pop or whatever as you're like going down. So you're going down, and then all of a sudden, just everything, just like when we took off in Denver into that tornado, everything just winds up to a full steam ahead. Because when you're landing, you're really not using the engines. You're using the glide, and you're using the flaps and all this stuff. And I only know all this crap. But I only know all this stuff because of my crippling fear 10 years ago. I would study every bit of aviation just to know. And I would listen to these tapes or whatever. That's like, okay, when you hear this sound, that's the landing gear coming down and all this other stuff. So you really don't use the engines that much. So when they fire up full steam ahead, that fucking sucks. And it's just like the Denver thing. It shakes the entire plane. It's very uncomfortable. You hear that big exhaust sound that you hear from airplanes. That, you know what I'm saying? Like, not just the engine sound, but that real...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is
Your
terrible.
Your impressions are on point tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, making some good sound effects.
So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not like takeoff where it's like, but more like, it's terrible. I have pretty good sound effects here, let's be honest. But no, I mean, seriously, those experiences have really fucked me up dream-wise.
Yeah.
And nightmares, that is.
If you wouldn't have had Denver, would St. Louis have been your worst flight ever?
100%.
Yeah.
Well, no, actually. I had a flight much worse than that. But it was like early in the morning, and I was, what was I, 18? It was a small plane from Spokane to Salt Lake, I think it was, in like one of those little Alaska Air
Horizon.
little guys.
Yeah.
Plane was doing fucking like backflips and shit. That was the worst. But the St. Louis one would be worse. But honestly, man, like seriously, that has to be like in the top 5% of scariest plane rides that we did in Denver. Has to be in like the top 5% of the entire world population, and live through it. I'm talking like close calls.
Yeah.
Same with like if you get a bird strike or like one of the engines blows up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like some of those planes where like the air pressure will rapidly change because like a piece of the plane will break open and the masks drop. Our experience in Denver has to be in the top 5, maybe even lower percentile of like shit that's happened to people. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's almost kind of, I don't know, it's weird to say, but I almost kind of glad it happened because there's no more really like what ifs anymore. Like there's always what ifs, of course, every time you get on planes, it's scary, but it's like, listen, man, because you always hear this, that's what they tell people who are afraid of flying. Dude, statistically speaking, it's safer than trains, cars, anything. More people die every year from water balloons than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you look at the statistic outlook of that, and it's like, okay, well, statistically, we had a pretty fucking close call.
Yeah.
And that raises our chances of being okay in the future, in my opinion.
I just saw a meme, and it was like a girl asking a flight attendant, it's like, how often do planes crash? And the flight attendant's like, just once.
Man.
That's hilarious.
But isn't it weird how I've been able to kind of wean myself off of the Xanax, even though we had that experience?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But I still get way nervous. You were attest to that.
Yeah.
What other kind of fears, like
spiders,
irrational or rational, do you have?
Spiders. I'm way bigger than them. I could crush them and easy. We don't live in the fucking like Australian jungle, so it's not like I really have to be that freaked out. But I mean, there's black widows and stuff around here, but only if you go poking around the wood piles.
Retard.
Yeah, seriously. We don't have a barn around here.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's an irrational thing. Like there was a spider that was hanging out above our door because it's October, it's getting colder, and so the spiders are all starting to
want to come inside,
get into the warmth. And there's one hanging out above our door for like 2 weeks, and I made a point. This is just like in the last few weeks. I made a point to like instead of go through the front door at lunch and like be close to it physically, I would open the garage door and go through the garage, just so I didn't have to walk by this spider. Yeah. And it was like a big hobo spider. So I make a point to avoid them actively. Like if I see a spider like at work or anywhere else, I'm just like, hey, someone should kill this spider. Yeah. This is not gonna be me. But as a father now, I'm thinking like, okay, well, if one of these sons of bitches wants to get close to my kid, I'm taking, it's going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger level. Yeah, it's going to be like, I'm going to smash the shit out of it. But
Waffle stomp.
Well, I mean, but also I've had, my worst spider story is I was in bed in 2003 or 2004, and I was kind of, laying in bed, and I had basketball shorts on and didn't have a shirt on or anything like that, and I was watching TV, and I just had my arms behind my back, and I was lounging, and I felt a little itch, like down by my hip, and the TV is the only light casting on the room, so it's just casting over me, that TV kind of, that light. And so I kind of reach down to itch it, and this giant ass hobo spider just goes from like the bottom of my like from
ran
my hip.
Ran a seatbelt on you.
Like a seatbelt path, but all the way, and just and the TV light, it like cast a long shadow on me.
Did you shriek?
I fucking freaked out. Never found that spider.
Oh.
I freaked the fuck out. It still freaks me out. I've never found that.
What house?
This is at my parents' house when I was like in high school.
Yeah.
And my mom's like, "What's happening?" I'm on the top of my bed. I'm hitting it with
Where'd
the broom.
Where'd you sleep that night?
On the couch. I slept on the couch for like a month. No, I'm not kidding. My mom can attest to this story.
No,
fuck
I believe
that
you.
shit. I left it exactly how it was when this all happened. Bed's all crumpled up and shit. I didn't go back in my room for a long time. And it's like, oh, you gotta get clothes for school. It's like, can you get them for me? Like, I'm not. It's just a fucking spider.
A couple years ago, so I usually, at the time, I would always, like if I went to bed, I would maybe play on my phone for a bit and then go to sleep. I'd almost never have the TV on. Maybe like on usually like weekend, sure, but like work night, almost never. Maybe like 2% of the time. And this one night, I just decided to watch like one show on Netflix, and I'm watching it, and I noticed what looks like a goose feather, like a goose down, like a pillow,
Yeah.
Like floating down. And I was like, wow, that feather's like strangely rigid. And I can only see it because it's dark in front of the between me and the light of the TV. And then it's going down, and like just as it starts to disappear, I'm like, that's not a fucking feather.
Sorry.
So I carefully slide out of bed so as to make sure that it doesn't get on me, because I know about where it is, and I lunge and get the light on, and I find it, and I grab a slipper and I hit it, and it goes into the spider ball, where they fake like they're dead, and goes on the ground, and I go to hit it again, and it springs out and skitters. I killed it. It's dead. It's super dead. But that
at least
Yeah.
At least you put the mark up.
I know. I slept on.
So it was coming down on its web.
Yeah.
My God, Greg.
I still don't know where it could have been coming down from, other than just the ceiling.
I fucking hate spiders, dude. And I feel bad when I kill them, because I pay for pest control, and my house is fucking like Auschwitz around here for spiders. I mean, it's a good thing. I don't like seeing spiders in my house. I haven't found a live spider in my house for how many years?
I don't know.
6 years. I mean, that's good. And I tell the pest company, I'm like, listen, I don't want to see shit.
No, we had that big one. That
was right when we moved in before we got pest control.
It?
And it was ginormous. And I called the place, I don't want to see shit.
That's funny.
Oh my God, I can't stand spiders. But I feel bad. And so even if I find a spider in the house, or not in the house anymore, if I find a spider that's in a precarious situation, it's like, all right, you're scary, but I'm going to try and scoot you out into the grass. Like, I care.
Program.
I care. No, I do care, because they eat all the mosquitoes and stuff like that. Yeah. Cat-faced spiders, let's talk about that. Daddy longlegs and cat-faced spiders are the only spiders that I will not harm a bit. And if you try and harm them, I'll fight you. I'll fist fight you right now. Because daddy longlegs are harmless. Mm-hmm. I used to let them crawl on my hands. I don't mind them at all. Not one bit. One could crawl on me right now. I'd be kind of like, oh, because it's a spider. But if it was if I noticed it was daddy longlegs, oh, let's get this guy outside. Cat-faced, same thing. Cat-faced spiders, they stay to themselves.
Yep.
And if you've never seen a cat-faced spider, Google cat-faced spider.
They look horrible.
They look like a jungle spider that's going to fucking rip out your throat and eat your family. But no, they just keep to themselves. They make a nice little web somewhere. They grow real fat, and they're just cool, I respect the cat-faced spider. If I found one in the house, I would carefully remove him and put him out somewhere. Actually, I found a cat-faced spider in our back patio furniture last year. A little itty-bitty one, and what did I do? I fucking put the chair where it was hanging out against a pillar so he could make a new home.
That is true, you did do that.
I did do that. But a hobo, I would have been like, okay, get out of here.
No.
What?
Would have been Anna.
Oh, she's the spider killer in our house for sure. The worst was when...
Oh,
fucking Jesus. How does she kill him? She takes one of the thinnest tissues you can even imagine.
Absolutely
she wraps her
not.
entire finger on the body and goes...
I do not.
You fucking do.
I take a couple tissues.
No, one. And I always comment on it. I'm like, are you fucking serious? She's like a Lionheart. Anything.
I can't.
There was that one hobo that she didn't do it to because it was fucking that big.
It wasn't.
But seriously, she's like, oh, I'll get it. And then it tries to skitter away.
And I'm like,
and if
shit.
she's like, oh, darn it. I'd be like,
There was a hobo like by my feet once. Me and my friends were playing Madden, and I took a TV remote and I like full force hit it on the ground, and it ran away.
Yeah.
It didn't fucking care.
Yeah.
That I hit it.
The worst was it was in our old house. I was really sleepy, and it was like time to go to bed. It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm a night owl. And so I walk from the theater room out to like the main like basement living space, and I see this dark circle, and the lights are like almost off. I see this dark circle in the middle of the carpet, and I stop, and I was tired, so I was like, is this really gonna fucking happen right now? I looked over with great trepidation, if you will, and I just like, yep, that's an enormous spider. This thing was the size of a coaster. No. Leg span, everything, size of a coaster, easy. And I saw the 2 clear stripes down its back. You know what that is? Brown recluse. You know what a brown recluse can do to you?
Yeah.
A lot of shit. Huh?
I went to the hospital.
Yeah. They can fucking kill you if not treated right.
Yeah.
I mean, any spider bite can really get bad, but a brown recluse is no fucking joke.
Crater your skin.
Yeah. So I'm like...
Mine didn't get that bad, but it was pretty fucked.
Diana was mad at me or something, shocker, at that point, so I didn't want to wake her up for her to take care of it. So I was like, you know what?
It was 1 a.m.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to man up and take care of this. And of course, at the time, it was probably like, you know what? I'm going to... So I got this little like beer, like aluminum sign that I had because we had a bar at our old house. And I must have paced around this goddamn spider for easily like 15, 20 minutes, like wondering what my plan of attack was. Finally, I was like, all right, like, and I threw this round aluminum sign on top of it, and I full force just jumped on this thing. And I'm on this thing with one foot, and with the other foot, I'm stomping it into the carpet. I'm twisting that fucking, I'm getting in there, you know what I mean? And I'm getting right after it. And I'm like, okay, he's got to be dead, right? But I was so scared to move. I couldn't fucking move. I was afraid. I was like frozen.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna jump off. I'm just gonna see what happens. So I jumped off, and I jumped easy. Seriously, it was like an Olympic. I'm not a very like. I mean, I'm athletic, but I'm not that athletic. This was like an Olympic style jump. Like where they like push their legs out and like get the sand or whatever. Basically like that. And so then I get up and I look at it and nothing's moving. The aluminum thing is still there, and I'm like, okay, I must have fucking killed it, but I don't want to go over there just in case, because they are strong, just like you said about the TV remote. So I get like a broom or something like that, and I go over there, and I'm gonna flip the aluminum sign over, and I got like the handle part of the broom, and I'm like, I just got really close, and I'm just like, fuck, this thing better not jump out at me, and I flipped up the thing. This thing was basically fucking untouched.
Oh.
Untouched.
So what'd you do?
I fucking screamed my ass off. And then I got something else. I can't even remember what.
Yeah.
I got something else and took care of the job, but I had to chase it in the basement.
Oh.
Fucking awesome.
That's terrible.
This thing's like the biggest spider I've ever seen in my life. And it could definitely fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. It was like, okay, this is around the time when Diana's like, I don't want to get like a full pest control service. Let's just try this Black Flag spray from Lowe's. Oh. I compromised.
Yeah.
Day after, guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. Well, and this Black Flag stuff would just knock out these hobos. They would just knock them out, and they'd turn over and crunch up. You know how they like scrunch their legs up? And I'd be like, oh yeah, this stuff's working really great. And I'd go with like a little cardboard something to like scoop up their body, put them in the toilet and flush them. Or, whatever. Because I don't put them in the garbage. Fuck that. That's like, it's like a zombie coming out of its grave, like for revenge. Anyway, so anytime I would go up to these things, it would wake them up. They're crunched up, so they're basically on their way to death. But it would wake them up, and so they'd flail like this, and they'd turn over, and they'd just be fucking like rabies
so
spiders.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, dude. And I'm just like, I told Diana, I'm like, go pick up that spider right now. She's like, it's working. I don't want to pay for this, but go pick up that dead spider right there in the corner. You see it? And she's like, okay, I'll go pick it up. And then what do you know? Fucking spider zombies are everywhere.
Spider zombies.
Spy zombies.
Yeah.
There've been a handful of upside down cups and Tupperware left around for
dude. You want to check that in the basement? One time I got it in like a water bottle, like a regular like Clearwater spring water bottle or whatever, and I was just like, oh no, and like reflexes kicked in, and it was like the Matrix, and I was like, beep, and I got like this hobo, probably about that big, but perfectly in the water bottle thing. But then I'm stuck like this.
Yeah.
and the thing doesn't have enough like structural integrity to like stand there.
Yeah.
So once I let go of this thing, it's gonna fall over and this thing's gonna leave.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, ugh. And then I'm like, okay, I can't get out of this. Like I'm at a really, it's like playing Twister. It's like I was playing Twister. It's like right hand blue, oh no. and so I yell, Diana. She comes downstairs. She's like, what? I'm like, I need you to get this. And it's like, I've had to call her in some weird situations.
That's amazing.
On the crapper. Anywhere.
Oh.
She's the spider killer. Yeah. And people make fun of me for that sometimes. Like, fuck you. Get yourself a girl who kills some spiders with a fucking centimeter wide tissue and just monster.
Not a centimeter wide.
Well, and then sometimes she'll just put it like she'll get the really big bunch of tissue. She'll get it and she'll just squeeze the tissues. It's not gonna do anything. She puts it in the toilet, but guess what? Spiders can survive that. I'm like, did you crush it? I make sure she crushes it.
Yes.
Don't I?
Yes.
I said, did you crush it? I didn't hear it crush. And she's like, I did. And then there's been a handful of times where she's like, look, and the thing like crawls out.
No.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
There's a legion of spiders in the sewers of Coeur d'Alene that are forming.
Oh,
they know me.
Imagine.
Like
man,
a real Spider-Man, just a man-sized like spiders forming together.
It's like a nuclear freak.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah. So I have at least 2 more dreams. I should get in.
Okay.
So have you guys heard my abduction dream?
No.
I might have.
Aliens?
No.
Really?
I don't think
That's
so.
Surprising.
I think I was.
So there's like a super weird twist that happened like 14 years after this dream that I'll also tell you. But okay, so I was, I don't know, between the ages of like 4 and 6, and so I'm in this dream, which by the way didn't feel like a dream. I'm at the park downtown, one of the parks downtown. I don't think it was the main one, like by the beach. I used to live downtown. Anyway. So I'm like I think I'm by like the swings, and I like sense something coming for me, and I start to run, and I'm like running, and I turn around to see where it is, and I turn back forward, and everything in front of me is different. I'm no longer at this park. I'm in a big like grass field, like rolling hills, like grass field, and I turn around again, and behind me is now the same. I'm not where I was at all. And I'm running, and I can still feel something chasing me, and I can't see it. And I'm running, and I feel it getting closer and closer. I can't see it, and then it's on me, and it goes black. And then I open my eyes, and I'm in a white room on a metal slab. And there's like beings around me, but I can't see them, but I can like sense them. I know they're there. I can hear them, like they're making noises to each other. They're communicating, but it doesn't make
like
any
clicks
sense to me.
Or what?
Like
mumbling or muffled talking or.
Yeah, almost like moany kind of sounds. Kind of. Yeah. And
you were abducted by whales?
And so then they do like a full-on spinal tap.
Jesus.
Jeez.
Actually, you have told me this before.
Started at my tailbone, and I like if I think about it, I can still feel it because it hurts so bad.
Jeez.
Like going all the way up, and then I woke up in my bed.
Like you could feel, like it felt.
Yeah, it hurt.
It hurt.
I like
Maybe
thinking about it. Thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
23 years later, I can feel it.
Dude, I'm telling you, there's aliens among us.
So, twist to everything. Some amount of years later, like 15 years later maybe, me and some friends are at a friend's house, and we're drinking and smoking a little weed, and we're talking about dreams and stuff, and like we were talking about cool dreams, and then started talking about nightmares, and as I was about to tell that dream, my friend told it word for word.
Oh, that had happened to him?
His dream, yeah. Word for word, the same dream.
Downtown park, to the field.
To a field, to a white room, metal slab, spinal tap. Wake up.
Jeez.
Shut the fuck up.
Swear to God.
Dude, that's crazy.
And we were like drunk and high, and scared the shit out of us.
That's crazy. I've had a spinal tap before.
I don't know, dude. Like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude. Super fucked up.
And aliens are real.
Mm-hmm.
100%. They're among us too. Yeah. I was talking to Greg like 2 days ago, literally about this. I was like,
yeah,
wouldn't it be like Greg? I firmly believe that there are aliens like living in human skin that are among us, that are studying us.
What if there was like all of a sudden like a phenomenon or whatever happened that like aliens came and they confirmed that like, yeah, we've been living among you guys, studying you, but we're peaceful and like this, that, and the other, and like all of a sudden like you find out who amongst us has been aliens.
Man.
You're like, yeah, I knew Debbie in accounting was an alien.
Well, that's what
that would be.
Well, that's what I was saying to Greg. I was like, what if like one day I was like, hey man, you want to see something cool? And Greg's like, yeah, it'd be whatever. Like, what is it? Like a video game or something? I'm like, yeah, check this out. And I just take my
face
mask off, and I'm just like a Cthulhu monster or something like that. I'm just like,
yeah. If that happened, that would bring out like a whole new form of racism. It would bring humans together.
Oh, totally.
Oh yeah. Well, we don't know who's human.
Well,
actually, how did we get on that conversation? I said, oh, Greg, how do you know you're not a robot?
Yeah.
You ever cut into your own body?
Yeah.
You ever see if you have a metal skeleton? You know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that this is all just wires. And then we got on the alien portion.
Yeah.
And then I told Greg, I was like, if you turn out to be an alien, you like took off your glove and it's just all like tentacles and stuff. I said, I'd be totally cool with it. Tell me if you're an alien.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, well, that's what an alien would say, you son of a bitch. Blurp, block, blurp, or wait. Ooh. But if you were, I'd be totally cool. I wouldn't tell anybody, but tell me the secrets of your kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're looking at me real weird, like you want to study me. Or what if you're an alien, you don't even know it?
Yeah, it's true.
But remember on Westworld, like the robots like bleed and stuff like that. It's like
true.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and then I made the point after we had that discussion, like, Greg, you ever think that, like, because AI is a big thing right now and people are afraid that like robots are going to take over the world, the new technology. Yeah. I told Greg, I was like, have you ever thought about like what if we're the new technology from eons ago that took over the previous civilization, and now we're about to do the same thing?
Dinosaurs were actually hyper intelligent,
and they built us.
Yeah.
But seriously, yeah. You ever think about that? It's a mind fuck.
I don't think dinosaurs could do it because T-Rexes have really small arms.
Some people say dinosaurs don't exist. Some people say it's all bullshit. No, I know that's ridiculous, but some people do. But that makes
it's really interesting to me
because we're like perfect, like well, not perfect, but like everything just works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we have systems in our entire bodies to self-heal, to do all sorts of things. The human species, bipedal, just the way we can move, the way we can run, our brain capacity, our smarts, our intuition, our everything. It's the opposable thumb.
Yeah.
Like everything just has been engineered, whether it be by God or aliens or whatever. It's just been engineered to be like the most dominant force on the planet.
Yeah.
And that,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost just like if we were making a robot, we wanted to make sure they had all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just interesting how like we seem normal, like a normal being, but we are the dominant force, like you said.
Yeah. For many different reasons.
Exactly, but typically you see the dominant force like a monster, or like you know what I mean.
Maybe we are the monster.
Exactly, but it's like
maybe our kind overran the peaceful kind people before. If sharks from 5 billion years from now, maybe they're the normal kind, but they learned how to walk on land and fucking eat everybody. That's what I'm saying. Like you think about that kind of stuff. That's why I love Joe Rogan, because he talks about shit like this. But anyway, not really nightmares, but still pretty fucking cool.
Well, so now I'll tell my least favorite nightmare I've ever had. I know you've
the
heard
scariest.
In my opinion, you find the dog one scarier. Yeah.
Oh yeah, buckle up. You've never heard this. So I don't think so.
So in the dream, this didn't happen that long ago, maybe a couple years, but in the dream I was probably like 12 or so, and there was this like weird. It was like a Catholic church, but they were having like a baseball tournament or something, like a neighborhood get together type of thing. And the way that everything was set up, so there was like the baseball diamond and then the dugout behind it, and then on like if you were standing behind home plate, like looking out, on your left was the church, and there was like these big double doors that opened up into the baseball field. And so like everybody's lined up. There's like a big line of people, and then there's also people like playing baseball, and I was one of the people playing baseball. I was out in the outfield, and this baseball field also had trees in the outfield for whatever reason, and it wasn't at all organized. It was just people having fun. There was all like probably 20 plus people in like on defense in quotes, and I'm out in outfield by a tree, and all of a sudden the double doors bust open, and these nuns in black with black veils come out.
It gets worse.
on both sides, like 2 lines of them come out. They file out, and this one comes out that's got to be like 9 feet tall, and she's, instead of like a normal nun like hat and veil, hers is like, it kind of like goes out almost like horns, and it's white, and she's got a white veil that goes all the way down, and like the normal like black nun clothes all the way down, and she kind of like lifts her arms up, and all of the other nuns like just start massacring everyone there. Like shooting at everybody.
Shotguns, right?
Mostly shotguns.
This is how I know Greg is touched by the darkness.
So I'm hiding behind this tree.
Oh.
I'm laying down, hiding behind this tree, and I see like the 9 foot tall nun. So like everybody's dead, and she like looks at everything, and I think she clapped, and all of the nuns turned the guns onto themselves and shot themselves.
This fucking guy, I'm telling you.
So like I see that, and I'm like, holy shit, it's over. And like as I'm thinking that, I feel a hand grab my ankle, and I turn, and there's another nun, and then I woke up.
Jesus Christ, Greg.
Yeah,
this piece of shit. That's the worst he's got.
Pretty sure that's the worst dream I've ever had.
That is crazy.
I know. I'm sitting here like, oh, I saw a clown in a corner. And
know,
Greg's like,
right?
these nuns turned it on themselves.
Like,
That could be like a cool movie, though.
Yeah, I've thought about that.
The 9 foot nun that you described reminded me of something.
Slender Man.
No.
It kind of reminded me of like the satyr in True Blood.
No.
We never watched True Blood.
Oh, you pieces of shit.
Well, we want.
Actually, I know you blew it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Bring
I
this
didn't
up.
blow it. HBO blew it.
Yeah.
You could've read.
Who starts with the fucking season finale?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, that guy's a dog. Cool. That's weird. Diana, this first episode really is heating up. So wait a minute. So he woke up from his coffin, and now he's just burnt. So he's dead. He's dead now. That's what we're doing. And that guy can turn into a border collie. That's crazy.
Anybody listening to this, the 9 foot tall nun wasn't the satyr from True Blood, but that's kind of what its head looked like.
Fuck.
That's craziness.
Yeah.
That would be, I would be too afraid to go back to sleep from that.
You know what also just terrifies me, even though I love it so much? Space.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Because
Totally
you
agree.
just don't know what's out there.
Yeah. Fear
And
of
deep
the
water.
unknown.
And deep water.
Yeah.
Deep water. Yeah, no, the ocean,
Ocean's messed up.
Yeah, that can be very scary.
Well, or even just like, have you ever had goggles on and out in the lake and floated over and looked down and seen like an old piece of wood?
And you just can't tell what it is at first.
No, you know that it's like
Oh.
just an old piece of wood, but it's underwater, and it's just so disturbing.
Yeah. Everything
Hate that
underwater
shit.
is like really eerie. Like when
Yeah.
they show those videos of like the Titanic and all that stuff, it just has such an eerie feel to it.
You know the Titanic's gonna like turn to dust in like 50 years.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know.
I
It's
know,
like that
isn't
whole
it?
thing's gonna just disappear.
They exhumed, is that maybe the right word?
Good
Yeah.
good word.
Thanks. A large piece of it in the last couple years,
Really?
I would say.
I didn't even know that.
But like it wasn't anything like complete. And that's I think what they're working on, like as allowed, is bringing as much of it up as possible.
Man, isn't there like just a bunch of skeletons down there, like in the bilges and stuff
Probably.
like that? Fuck, you think about
It's been
that?
over 100 years.
I know, but when you see pictures of the Titanic, you're like, oh wow, what a historic crash, but you never really think of all the bones inside.
Well,
know what I mean?
don't bodies float?
Not if they're trapped in a ship.
Oh.
Not everyone was on top of the decks. Like a lot of people were like the
Irish.
engineers were. not just,
The
not just
yeah.
the Irish. I
The
mean, they were the
Irish,
poorest, so they were in
yeah.
the lower decks, sure. But I'm just saying, like,
That
no one ever.
that old couple.
Yeah.
Man.
But no one. I realized that recently. It's like, wait, if they go inside the Titanic with like a drone or something like that, aren't they gonna see a fucking shitload of bones? You know what I'm saying? Like dead bodies. Not dead bodies at this point, but just bones.
I wonder how long a body lasts in water.
At that depth, long time. It's so cold down there. It's like preservation. They found a person in Hayden Lake that had driven their car into the lake at, it was like in the 50s or 60s.
What?
Yeah.
Recently?
No, this is like 10 years ago.
Oh.
They found a car down there really deep, and the two bodies had been almost perfectly preserved. It was two ladies, and they had almost been perfectly preserved down in Hayden Lake. That's why I've called it like the dead people lake for a long time. But it's so cold down there that it was perfectly preserved bodies. You didn't hear about that? Here, I'll Google it.
Mostly unrelated. Did you know that there's a submarine there's a bunch of submarines in
Lots of subs.
Pend Oreille,
Yep.
but there's one that you can have dinner on.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
That scares the
They're
shit
like
out of me,
booked
though.
through May, but yeah.
Submarines are scary.
You can go in there and it like takes you around. You're in there the whole time, so you're like 4+ hours. And then there's like monitors so you can see what's below you.
Huh. That'd be interesting. I bet that's expensive as shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
2007, missing Hayden Lake girls found.
Girls?
Hold on.
Watch, it was from like the 90s.
Might have been.
He said the 50s.
I seem to remember it was like a 1950s car.
Oh, they drove in 2 weeks earlier. Interesting.
No, I seem to remember that it was like a 1950s car.
Yeah. So did you know that we're almost at an hour and a half?
Oh.
Well, I think we're doing pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a lot to.
Well, we've been gone for like 2 weeks since our road podcast, so I feel like you guys deserve it. Okay.
Any other weird irrational fears? Like, you know how some people have those fears of holes?
I fucking hate that.
Yeah, I don't have a fear of holes, but it makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like the weird thing, like not like a hole in the ground.
Not like a honeycomb. Like some people, like, you know, certain things, but like on these things on the skin that they do makeup for, that fucking no thanks.
I hate it.
Yeah, no thank you. Or like nodules that come out of these little holes.
Ugh.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the botfly larva video?
Yeah, holy shit. Okay, that's horrifying. We're not talking about that. The first time I discovered what a botfly was, I almost shit my pants. No, I don't want to talk about it. Nope.
What about
Man, I have the best follow-up.
Shut up. I'm not.
I'm gonna be kind.
What about the guy? What about the guy with like the tree hands? I hate those.
Oh, okay.
And then the guy with the lobster hands.
Oh.
Those like weird, or like the wolf people.
No,
the
Mexican
tree
people
wolf.
are so much worse because it's fucking like bark.
Yeah, that's why I kind of have, as much as I like.
It's always India people.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Indians, but I didn't want people to get all freaked out. Like,
yeah, people from India.
People from India. It's always them. Why is it always them?
D not F.
Excuse me? Oh, dot not feather.
Yeah.
You said it.
Probably because.
Okay, sorry everybody. Jesus.
Probably because a lack of healthcare.
I don't know, dude.
Technology. I don't know, but
it's always these
what
Indians.
about shit? What was I gonna say? I totally just like.
Oh man.
I hate when that happens.
The wolf people.
What's a wolf person? Just hairy people?
Yeah, where the
They're
hair,
covered in
like
hair.
the hair on top of your head grows on your face.
Yeah.
It's the other thing, man. Just about how we're engineered. These weird like defects and mutations.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It is.
Like very, very unsettling. Like the Elephant Man. That was more of a deformation, I feel.
But still, that was a tumor, I thought, wasn't it?
No, his whole bone structure was fucked.
Really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But he lived a good life. John Merrick till he was 27, I believe.
See, that kind of stuff just freaks me out.
Why is that a good life?
I know, right?
When you're have you ever seen a picture of the real Elephant Man?
I don't like it.
Well, I'm gonna show you.
I don't want to see it.
Okay.
Yeah, all that kind of weird scientific shit is really creepy.
That's why he had a good life. He was able to grow up, wear a suit. He was a freak from birth.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very sad story. And if you, it's the sump pump.
I believe you.
And if you watch the, see, look, this is his actual skull, like skeleton. Like, it's.
Did he donate his body to science?
Yes, he did.
That's good.
Damn.
He lived to 27-ish years old, something like that, into his 20s. But he was very well spoken. He had a good, like, life for what he had. So yes, I consider that a good life. But yeah, dude, like, I'm just saying, like, think about stuff like that. There's always so many human oddities out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel bad because these poor people have to like live with this weird or unfortunate.
Like the tree bark guy. They like shave his bark off constantly.
Yeah.
But no, like it's like painful. Like I feel bad because like that guy is like really in pain and stuff, but it's just.
Or people with like elephantitis, of like limbs.
Didn't we just talk about that?
Elephantitis?
Yeah.
Not the elephant man. The elephant man was just deformed, severely deformed, not elephantitis.
Oh, okay.
Elephantitis is like your arm or your leg or your foot will just be like, Yeah.
No, I mean, it is crazy.
Radiation scares me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrifies me, actually. It did before we watched that Chernobyl series, but after, I mean...
that lady with her fucking baby. Ugh.
The thing about that, though, it's like, dude, we would not be nearly as advanced as a civilization without the advent. Well, no, just without the advent of nuclear power.
Yeah.
If we didn't have nuclear power, we wouldn't be doing this, this exactly what we're doing today, just on a daily basis without it.
But don't you think some of these tragedies, like, they almost have to push the limits to get to situations where, like...
that's progress.
Then, yeah.
And anyone who dies along the way is just a casualty of progress.
Yeah.
And that's the way it goes. Because nuclear energy is the cleanest and most sustainable energy that we know of and that we can produce. And it's phenomenal.
Solar? Electrical?
Not
wind?
to the... I mean, okay, technically the sun is a nuclear reaction. It's a giant nuclear furnace. But at the same time, it's always night. There's cloud cover in some places of the world. So I'm sure solar, if we invested heavily in it, I'm sure it would do a lot. But I think nuclear power is just constant.
Yeah.
The thing about nuclear power that's the worst part of it is that when those nuclear rods get spent, like remember when Fukushima blew?
Oh, yeah.
You can't smell radiation. You can't fucking nothing. In this area, there's radon. So right now in this basement, even with the mitigation system, we're taking doses of radon radiation right now. And you don't even have to be in a basement. Anytime you're in this area, you're taking a certain amount of radiation from the radioactive radon particles or whatever that are in this soil here. That's just the way it is. That's why in the Northwest there's lots of different illnesses that are more prevalent than anywhere else in the world. And that's just is what it is. But this really hardcore radiation that's like, because it's kind of Pandora's boxy kind of a thing. So like, you get all this power and you get all, you create all this steam, which powers your turbines, which powers cities for billions of years or whatever the hell they can do. But then it creates this waste that is just ultra toxic.
Yeah.
That doesn't lose its toxicity or whatever.
That they can't do anything with it.
They can't do anything with it. And the only thing they have figured out to do right now is to bury it under a mountain in a big cement vault in Nevada and elsewhere around the world. And there have been talks of putting it like in space, but then guess what? What if one of those rocket explosions happen and you have a big old fucking cargo of toxic waste on there? Yeah, that's bad. But that's the thing. And then you look at these reports of like, okay, after Fukushima blew in 2011, I think it was, what did the radiation map look like? The West Coast took a pretty, the whole world did, but the West Coast and like America took a pretty good radiation hit.
Yeah.
But did you feel it? Did you smell it? Did you taste it? No.
Yeah.
It's just there. Hell, if you stay out in the sun for too long, it's skin cancer time. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the same token, it's kind of like giveth and taketh away. Because there wouldn't be life on this planet without that sun radiation.
Yeah.
That sun radiation caused mutations in the organisms on Earth. First, it allowed them to grow, and then it caused we're built off of radiation. That's how we are here. So but man, when you try and harness that power, whoo! It's obviously very, very good that we have it, and it's going to continue to pay off for us. But man, dangerous game. Because you think about it, it's like Chernobyl. I always talk about it, if that like had a full all reactors melted and all this other stuff, the entire continent of not continent, but the entire country of Russia, or at least a good swath of it, would be uninhabitable.
Man.
But it's just kind of crazy how it's just like so concentrated in that area, and then as you go out, but there's like nothing you can do. You just go, you just step away. Just like in the show that we watched, like those apartment buildings are there. There's tricycles that are just sitting there.
Yeah.
Everything stood still. Cars from because when did that happen in the
86
80s? Yeah, time
when we were in the womb.
Just stood still because everybody had to just leave. You know what I mean?
And those firefighters, they ran in, just fighting fire. an invisible force, the greatest force probably in the universe, if you really think about it, as far as that is, except for like a black hole, because it, every star is a radioactive something. But yeah, that scares the absolute shit out of me. But you actually take a dose of radiation every time you are near your cell phone.
Yeah.
Or when you get in a plane, you take a pretty good dose of radiation. It's all about how consistently you get it and how much you, I guess that same thing, how consistently. So if you're like if you fly all the time for business, you're taking a lot of rads, and that's not so rad.
No.
Wonder if you have to do anything special if you're a pilot or a flight attendant. Like
sitting next to our phones right now, we're taking radiation.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It is what it is. That makes me less afraid of it because it's literally like, okay, that's just life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not on my top list of concerns.
But that man-made causes of radiation, like poisoning and like accidents, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that scares me. Maybe not radiation itself, but the potential for us to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because right now apparently there's still a Fukushima toxicity because it burned all the way through the molten rods, burned all the way through the floor, just like in Chernobyl, down to the groundwater. And there's still potentially, from what I understand, there's still radiation spilling into the Pacific Ocean every single day. I think about that because I'm a weirdo. I think about that every time I have sushi. I'm just like, well, seriously.
Yeah.
You kind of because all that seaweed and shit that it gets wrapped in, guess where it comes from?
Yeah.
Japan.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's true. Think about it. I don't want to ruin your next sushi trip, but still. Anyway, I'm afraid of radiation. That scares me. I'm also afraid of death. Hardcore afraid of death.
That's getting too deep.
Yeah.
What do you mean too deep? We're talking about fears.
We're talking about irrational feels.
That's an irrational fear because death is a part of life.
It's imminent.
That's a complete rational fear.
Death?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Sorry, everybody. Let's talk about farts and stuff.
Didn't
mean to get too deep on you.
It's a little more our lane.
Yeah, you can catch my intellectual focus podcast on. What? Okay, anybody else?
I'm trying to think. I feel like I usually have more irrational fears. Oh, just some things that I hate.
Those are pet peeves.
Yeah, we're gonna go on that tangent right now. I hate whistling. It annoys.
Sorry, I whistled earlier.
I didn't catch it.
Good.
I didn't think I catch it either. Wow. I don't think I catch it either.
Difference from when we do
again,
it on a
my
Saturday
intellectual
afternoon
podcast.
I hate whistling. I hate people that state facts, but they're obviously not true.
Yeah.
Why do you look at me like that?
Because you do that all the time.
How so?
You're so certain about something and it is not true.
In my defense, these are my understandings of things. If it's wrong, I readily admit that I was wrong about it, if you can prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I know we're a lot of useless knowledge. Greg and I do this all the time.
Me too.
Right? We'll say, oh, this was this. And usually I'll fight it. But then if he proves me wrong, I'll be like, okay, you're right. It's embarrassing.
But that's the thing. You never say, okay, you're right to me.
Well, you're a woman.
My last pet peeve, I'll say, is feminists. No.
Yeah, oh God, these fucking bitches. Hey. That's a nightmare I've had before. A woman president. Get them. High fives all around. Get them all. Come on, boom. Kidding.
I don't want anyone to feel attacked, but what a big pet peeve for me is when people chew with their mouth open.
Why are we doing pet peeves? I couldn't get deep in shit. You guys can't do pet peeves.
Because these are more lighthearted. And they're all about you.
What?
They're all about you.
Sorry, everybody.
Well, no, I said I didn't want anyone to feel attacked.
You generalized it. But I don't. I can state a fact here where I don't chew with my mouth open.
Yes, you do.
Not like you do.
It turned in from I don't to not all the time.
I don't. If I do, it's accidental.
Your jaw clicks, though.
Is that a pet peeve?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Do you hate it?
No, I had never noticed
her
it.
internal mouth sounds.
My oh boy was that I've opened
Pandora's box.
Something, yeah.
Her internal chewing sounds are, if you catch me on the wrong day, it's borderline.
Yeah.
It's borderline.
It's like that to me on the regular, and I can't do anything about it.
Door's unlocked. You know where the door is.
So do you.
Get out.
Hey, it doesn't bother me, but my dad, when it's usually chicken wings for whatever reason, but he'll like be eating them and he'll be like,
oh God, no.
and people like for a while I'd be like, what are you doing? He's like, what do you mean? It's like, that noise you're making. What is that? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And like I've just come to accept it.
Yeah.
But then like somebody else will eat with us and like they'll hear it and they'll like look at him and then they'll look at me, they'll like meet eyes with me, and they'll do like, what the fuck is going on? And
I catch myself doing that sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's more of like I'm enjoying it so much. So I was like,
no, yeah, that's not what he's doing. And then and then I'll be like, oh, he doesn't know he's doing it, and they're like, how? And my dad's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, see, I can relate though. Sometimes it's just an involuntary thing.
I hate involuntary like chewing noises or noises or like yeah.
I do it a lot actually. It's a cough, Greg. God, you are so jumpy. There's another cough. You are totally. The crapper pump's gone off twice, and you're like, there's someone here.
It is. Extra,
sorry for being on high alert.
It is extra loud down here because usually I'm upstairs and it's not as noticeable.
It is
it's extra because it's right there.
See, once you get, I also hate house sounds.
Yeah.
You have to get used to them.
Yeah.
Every time you're in a new house, like we've lived in 3 houses.
Yeah.
And you have to get used to the house sounds.
Yeah.
And then when you're in, when we moved into this new house, I remember like as soon as it was like, all right, it's time to move in, and I was like, oh boy, tonight's gonna be uncomfortable because you have to get used to the new house sounds. New house. There was one time where I, honest to God, thought someone was breaking through our window, and like smashed it in with a brick, and it turned out to be anytime in the cold weather months when you turn on our fireplace, there's an internal piece of metal that like it gets warm enough to where it goes. Yeah, and it took us maybe weeks to find that out. Like, what the fuck was that? And then like you would hear it and be like, oh, there it is again. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's terrible.
And then you'd finally figure it out, and then I remember such relief just washed over me when I finally figured it out. It's the fucking fireplace. Yeah. And then there was another thing shortly after that where like we would wake up and you just hear this like, but really fucking loud because it's on the metal of the chimney. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And it would wake us up on Saturday mornings. It sounded like someone was jackhammering. It sounded like someone was jackhammering on our roof. Like, yeah. So we're like, what the hell is that? And finally we figured out when I ran outside, there's this big old chunky woodpecker on top of the
Seriously,
thing. That
fucker came back every Saturday morning at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
For like a whole summer. I would go out and throw
rocks it was winter.
Was it winter?
Yeah. Because we had the same chimney sounds, and we knew there was the chimney sounds by then. But I figured out, because we were like throwing rocks at it. I was like, Lucy, go out there and get it. I was like, should I put Lucy on the roof or something like that? Because we call her the birderer, because she hates birds, and so we're like, Lucy, go get that bird. Anyway, so it got to the point where I was like, okay, this isn't fucking funny anymore. Yeah. And I was like, okay, this is just ridiculous. And I was like, well, shit, it's on the chimney. And so I went inside, clicked on the fireplace. Stopped that shit real quick.
There you go.
And he didn't come back.
Didn't come back.
Nice.
And anytime, well, no, he came back a couple of times, not in that same sitting.
Exactly.
But every time he came back,
it was like the next year. We knew the first time he came back, we knew to turn the fireplace on.
You really didn't lose much sleep because you just kind of groggily got up and just clicked on the fireplace, and you'd hear it for maybe a couple more minutes, but his little tootsies got hot, and so he was like, woof.
I still want to go up there and see what kind of damage he did.
Yeah. Ugh, it's just metal.
Bird.
My parents' old house. So my room was in the second story in the corner, and on windy nights, I would hear what sounded like somebody scraping my window, and I was fucking petrified every time. So I'd like look out and there's nothing there, and then I'd lay back down and then it took probably a couple years to realize that it's the fucking tree in the side yard scraping the siding on the other side of the wall.
House sounds, dude. It's one of the worst things in the world. Yeah. Because anytime you move into a new house, you have to solve a goddamn Scooby-Doo mystery.
Sometimes it sounded like gravel, and the whole side yard was gravel. So I thought somebody was like moving around over there. Yeah.
Our fridge to this day, in the middle of the night, still don't really know why. I think it's the ice maker, but it makes this electric sound like fucking Nikolai Tesla's in the living room. Seriously, it's like.
Yeah, it's the ice maker.
Yeah. And it shuts off. It took me weeks to figure that one out. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And then finally, when I knew like what it was or whatever, I would like was like, can I touch the fridge? Is it like electrically charged or what?
Am I gonna get superpowers?
Yeah.
In the house that I grew up in, we had mini blinds in the windows, and both of me and my sister's bedrooms had 2 windows in them. And I swear to God, in my bedroom, outside the house, there was a street lamp. No matter where I put my fucking bed, the opening where the cord goes in the mini blinds, the street light at night would always shine through it, and it literally drove me bonkers. I know it's not really like a house sound, but it's like, you know, intricacies with the house. Like, it was no matter where I put my bed. If I put it on that wall, it came in that way. If I put it on that wall, because it was how the light was outside versus where my windows were. Like, it was always coming in. That, like, and I dealt with it for way longer than I should have, because finally when that's it, I've had enough. I was like, Mom, I need some curtains that block out the light. She's like, okay.
That's why when we were financially able to do so, I got cell shaded curtains.
Yeah.
Or blinds.
Blinds, yeah.
That's one of my biggest fears. I didn't want to say it at one point because people are gonna fuck with me, but now I have cell shaders, so you know you can give it a try if you want to. But when my parents or when I was growing up, my parents always had they were the fucking like slatted.
Yeah.
Like blinds. You know, like they kind of look like wood, and they were in like the string, and they looked really cool, like on fucking in-home magazines, but like practically they fucking blew, because if you just like step to the side, you could see the entire glass door, and all of our house that I grew up in had glass doors, and like 8 of them on the main floor.
Yeah.
And this isn't a mansion.
Yeah.
This fucking thing was made of doors.
Yeah, that house had an alarming amount of doors.
Yeah, and they all had glass on them. I have nightmares. Actually, since we're talking about nightmares, I can't remember the last one, but I recently had a nightmare about being back in that house and all the blinds being open. Windows galore, like 48 windows on the main floor, like 7 or 8 doors. Anyway, so these blinds, even when you closed them, you could still, the little holes where the strings were wired through, you could still see.
Yeah.
And so, and one of my biggest things is, and I think it was the Amityville Horror that got me with this when I was really young, and she's doing the dishes and the window's open and there's like the pig monster, like ghost thing, like looking at her outside, and it can see her, she can't see it because the lights are on. Window is blocking her view of the outside and it's dark.
Yeah.
No way. That's like maybe my bigger fear than spiders.
Oof.
And so just that potential of being watched by an alien, by a monster, by an intruder, of someone watching you and you have no idea they're there. And you're just going by about your business. This right here, this little crack, hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. Has to be there.
It has to be there for ventilation.
For ventilation. Hate the fucking thing.
Your parents always, like, blinds open 24/7.
Close your goddamn blinds. No one wants to see in your house. I can see what people are watching TV on.
I'd hate being upstairs in my parents' house.
Yeah.
No thanks. I
Do
see
they not
these
have
things.
any blinds at all?
Well, they have blinds, but they're always open.
Or like you see these new age cabins that people have that just have glass walls everywhere, no blinds whatsoever. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, no thank you.
Yeah, no, that's not my deal.
No, but that's the thing. It's like that's a thing for me. And so cell shaded blind or cellular blinds. Cellular blinds. There's no cracks, not one, and it's form fitted to the exact space of the window. So anytime I can, those fuckers are closed, son. Yeah. And it's not good. Not a thing. So the blinds thing, I can really Yeah. And my parents, God, I love them so much, but Jesus H. Christ, did they have horrible fucking taste in blinds and houses for that matter. Who buys a house with like seriously 8 doors on the main floor and all of them glass?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
The glass insert that all you have to do is buzz it and then you can open the door. Unlock it.
Yeah, these doors weren't deadlocked. They were just the little handle. Yeah, and I seriously, I need to draw you like a diagram picture of what this house was. There was a door to go out to the garage. Across maybe 5 feet was the breakfast nook. Another door to get out to the side deck. Kitchen into the dining room, maybe 10 feet away. Another door. Right across from that, across the dining room, another door in the living room. And then the front door, that has a deadlock, yay. And then you have to go down the hallway, and then there's the laundry room door, and that has a deadlock, yay. And that's about it. And then a window on every wall.
Yeah.
With these horrible fucking blinds.
Yeah.
Fuck that house.
Well, we could check it out. Sounds like it'd be easy to get in.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. No, it's so funny that we were talking about this because I did have a nightmare about that house recently. Where I think I might have been the killer though.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That took a turn.
Yeah.
I won't go into that. No, I definitely wasn't the killer, but I was in that house and it was just like every window and blind was open and I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, no.
I have nightmares about being in our 3rd Street house sometimes. The one that I talked about that was for sure haunted.
Yeah.
And it had like a super sketchy, like, it was like if you picture like a haunted cellar basement, that's what it had.
Jeez. That's, Matt and I have this thing that we're on the exact same page with, that we don't like really old houses. Like, you know how even after these people fix them up,
It's still old.
Walls have memories.
Yeah, it's just
things happen if you go to a place that has negative energy. Mm-hmm. It's
usually
there.
If you remodel, you're just
pissing them off.
Active.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so glad this house that we built. Well, we didn't build it with our own hands, but we had built. We're the only people that have ever lived here.
Yeah.
And that is a very big comfort to me.
And you researched the ground?
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Duh. But that's the thing. Well, we were here for every step of the way for the construction. So we saw when they dug the hole, no Indian burial grounds.
That's good.
Yes. I thought
no artifacts.
Actually, you know what the weirdest fucking thing I've ever thought of is like if I, for whatever reason, just like went through that wall for some reason or whatever, and there's like a tunnel. You know what I'm saying? Like a tunnel system down to like, and there's this whole cavernous shit that's like below us and all around us that I've never thought of or even like whatever before. That freaks me out.
Yeah.
But that's super irrational and not even a thing. It's not even a thing, right? It's not a thing, right? But no, I mean, when you think about it, like houses and locations on Earth, there's just like, there's a negative energy that can stay around. And so I like to keep it as positive as possible here. And the fact that we're the original owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fresh and clean and yeah.
No murders have taken place here.
Yeah.
Because that's what you hear about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or just people that died and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, we're the only ones that have ever been here.
It's just like, was it field or woods before the development? Woods?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But I'm good.
I mean, back when I was out of high school, so it was right around when we got to know each other. So like 2008, 2007, we had mutual friends and we would ride 4-wheelers literally right where this house is.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
It's kind of crazy how we ended up living right here, but.
Well, but I mean, trust me, I remember like the house I just told you about with all the windows and stuff. Yeah. There's some weird shit that went on in that house. Yeah. The footsteps upstairs and all this other stuff in the bookshelf story.
Yeah.
Nothing like that has ever happened. Not even close.
Thank goodness.
But I will say that dark hallway upstairs can be a little daunting at night.
Or that fucking hallway.
I know you hate that hallway. You really do.
Hallway, yeah.
Well, it's because the sconce lights need to be replaced.
I have vibes, you know.
He's a sixth sense.
Yeah. No, you hate that hallway. Well, I mean, it's very, it's ominous.
Yeah. I remember what I was gonna say earlier. What is your theory on outdoor, like a porch light? Do you think that at night it should be left on or it should be turned off? Is the bright light welcoming or a deterrent to burglars? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I turn mine off.
So stupid.
To turn it off?
Yeah, go ahead and just give them all the cover they need. And give them the cover of darkness.
No.
If they're under the light, they're exposed.
The lights on is welcoming them. Come look in my window.
Welcoming them to what? To appear fully in the light to break in?
If they're gonna break in, it doesn't matter if it's dark or light. But anyways,
it's gonna deter them from going in the front door, in a neighborhood. They're gonna go for the dark place. Just tell me.
I don't know.
We've had this fight along. She's
not a fight. It's a
won
discussion.
It's a fight.
It's a discussion.
Well, she's won for now.
Yeah, but my compromise is to get a timer for the lights out there that they just turn off at a certain time because it just seems wasteful for me to like have them on all night.
I can't wait to have security drones.
Security drones.
Fast forward 15 years, I guarantee there's gonna be something you can buy at Lowe's that are like these little drones that monitor your perimeter of your house that fly around. And actually, I had the idea of having a little.
That.
What?
That just seems a little invasive.
Well, no. It's like I had the idea that they have their own little house, like their own little, whatever they switch off, recharge, switch on. There's like 3 of them.
It's like a Roomba.
Yeah.
Exactly. Except for there's these little, about this size.
Yeah.
They have a little camera on them, just like a Ring.
Yeah.
And they take turns, recharge, and then when you set them, probably not in the daytime, but in the nighttime, they just do their little perimeter.
What kind of artillery do they carry?
Well, probably a taser. But no, I mean, honestly, and they'll detect motion.
Yeah.
And so if they detect motion, they'll hover.
Yeah.
Go to 3 different night vision modes.
What are the just?
So they'll get murdered by cats.
No. These are. I mean, I'm saying. So let's say this is my house right here.
Yeah.
Right. They'll be like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just floating around the roof.
Yes. Yeah. So they have a bird's eye view. Yeah. And if there's movement, they send an alert to your phone.
Yeah.
I might be able to want to fucking copyright this. Maybe we're sitting on a gold mine here, but I'm just like a little box facility.
Yeah.
For them to just take turns when it's time to recharge. Send this guy out. Put googly eyes on all of them, of course. And then, but no, they just patrol your area. It's no different than a Roomba. I guarantee in 15, 20 years, someone will have that where it's like, hey, you're the ultimate home security system.
I don't think we're actually that far away from that.
Exactly.
5 to 10.
Yeah, little guys like this, just maybe we should do something on that. I'm dead serious.
Go right ahead.
Seriously, isn't that a good idea? Just to have constant surveillance around your whole perimeter. And it doesn't even, you know what I mean? It's just like whatever, even from like owls and animals and stuff.
But I mean, that would have a constant blind spot if they go one at a time.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean?
If they go one at a time, when this one's here, half of your house is uncovered.
Well, I know that, but it's not like moving really slow around the house. It's like a consistent perimeter check. So unless you're solid snake.
Way, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine. 4 at the same time, just watching each house. Or watching each side of the house.
But then you could just mount it to your house, and then you don't have to.
I hate
more cost efficient.
Mine's cooler, and actually,
yours is cooler for sure.
I thought about even having drones for pest control. These little bug-sized pest control drones that just go across.
Starting the robot army against the bugs.
They just go across your perimeter of your house, and they're just like little guard dogs. They they follow a certain path around the house, and when they encounter an insect,
they go to battle.
They stab the shit out of it. Yep, and they
So stupid.
It's not stupid. It's not stupid. It's not stupid. Little robots patrolling your perimeter.
Sweet.
It'd be fucking awesome. It's not stupid at all. You don't have to spray. It's not bad for the environment. You get these cute little bug-like things.
I don't have a spray now.
You get these cute little bug-like things.
Name the company Skynet?
Flynet. Yeah. No. Bugnet. Dragnet. But no, I'm saying, just like, oh, there's my little beetles on patrol. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like a mad scientist.
Call them P800s.
Got him. No, little guys. I don't know. Tiny drones really get me excited. Yeah. Not like sexually, but like.
Jeez. I'm not into the whole robot thing yet.
AI scares me. Do you ever watch the robot videos?
But yet you want.
If I can program, I'm gonna make sure that they can't take me over. And what are they gonna do? Just crawl? I mean, we'll take you over. What if they did revolt? What was I saying about the other day about the Roombas?
Yeah.
It's like, all these robots taking over, and I just always pictured like Washington D.C. on fire and all these Roombas just coming down Pennsylvania Avenue just at a slow pace and like going over the road so it's kind of bumpy and just making their way to the White House. Just the streets have never been cleaner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then there's that one that's like
Boston Dynamics robots are riding them.
Dude, they're out in the wild now. Do you know that? The dogs,
no.
The dog robots, they're out in the wild.
What do you mean by out in the wild?
Meaning that they're being used for actual practical applications right now.
That's crazy.
Search and rescue, things like that. These things are terrifying because they have a little claw. They can extend, open doors. They can do. I'm telling you right now, it's not a prediction, it's a promise. We are all gonna fucking die by robots. Period. If it's not from aliens first.
You know what Jenna's dad told me last week? She goes, the perfect way to test out combat robots would be in the NFL.
That would be fun.
Because they could test how they could maneuver, and they could test how they could take impact.
Robots are really scary, though.
I'm like, that's really smart.
Mm-hmm. But they are really scary.
That freaked me out, yeah.
Have you seen that Black Mirror? Is it Black Mirror? Yeah. Black Mirror episode?
I have not.
Long story short, and it's not a spoiler, but...
Are you talking about that one Choose Your Own Adventure one?
No. This one is these people... it's hard not to be a spoiler about it, but these people, they trespass on this property that they're not supposed to be in. This is like near future, maybe 20, 30 years down the line. And this very Boston Dynamics looking dog robot is like the security there, and it powers on because it knows there's an intruder, and this thing is lethal, and it chases these people. It doesn't run out of batteries, it doesn't get tired, it doesn't sleep, it doesn't do anything. So these people are running from this thing, and it is hunting them, and it will not stop. It's not like an animal. It's not like an organism. It's nothing. It's a machine.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's terrifying. But also, these little drones could just patrol your perimeter, and they could kill the little beetles and stuff. Well, not beetles. Beetles are friendly. But no, you should. It's called. It's a Black Mirror episode. It's called. It's like a dog reference or something like that, like Fido or something like that. But there's oh boy. That's the future. That's the future of security. And these Boston Dynamics dog robots and stuff, they're out in the wild right now. Heck, crazy. Amazon right now in Seattle, they have these massive robots that they developed that are just loading packages. Yeah. Loading packages. Right this very second, they are loading packages. If we got a package,
how much an hour? They're like, you want how much an hour?
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to take breaks. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to.
That's the future.
Maternity
automation.
Maybe multiple, but the McDonald's on Appleway has like self-serve order machines. Like you go in and there's like kiosks that you can order at.
Yeah, I think I saw something that all of them are gonna start doing that.
Well, they don't have to pay people. Yeah. They just invest the money that they would pay people into robotics, and especially the fact that people want like $15 an hour now to flip a fucking burger.
Well, you still need somebody to do that part.
No, you don't. You literally don't. Not with what they're developing. They're developing it so like McDonald's will be run autonomously.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about at this stage. You don't need.
Oh, right now.
Yeah. What we were talking about.
Yeah, what we were talking about.
Oh, sorry.
Didn't fucking listen to.
Should I leave?
Yeah, just the cashier people.
Oh, I should leave.
Stupid. Be going away, but.
No, but like I went in there like a couple weeks ago, and.
McChicken time?
No, I was the ladies in the office wanted breakfast burritos, and I wanted to not be in the office, so I went with but like people were at the kiosk things, and somebody was like standing there waiting for one to open, and cashier was like, I could help you here, and the guy like kind of like looked at them and like looked at the machine, and he's like just kind of huffed, and he's like went to the person.
Have you ever seen WALL-E?
No.
That's our future.
I've never seen it either, but when Disney Plus comes, all these movies I haven't seen.
We should do a Disney Plus launch podcast. Well, my point about WALL-E is that everything's automated, and we're all just like cruising around in these like chairs, and we're all morbidly obese. So, like everything does everything for us.
Tom Segura is his third special on Netflix. He talks about that.
It's kind of happened.
Yeah. I can't wait for the automated cars. I'm ready to.
It's already here.
The advancement of automated cars.
But that's so crazy.
I am ready to not have to drive. I don't even want
Me too.
I don't even want a fucking steering wheel in my car. Like literally.
What movie was that? Minority Report?
Probably.
Well, Joe Rogan.
I just want to be like, take me to work, and then I can play on my phone or do my makeup or like do something.
You know, I listen to a lot of Rogan.
The stupid girl behind me, the whole way I was coming home tonight. Owen's in the back, drinking his bottle, saying a few things here and there, and I'm watching this dumb girl behind me texting the whole way down Atlas. Pissed me off so bad that I was like, literally, like she could not pay attention for 1 second, and the first thing she's gonna do is rear end my car with my baby in it. Like, not okay. Get off your goddamn phone. Like, it pissed me off so bad. That's why I don't want to have to drive anymore, because I don't want other people to have to drive.
That's why we're gonna buy a Tesla in like 5 years. Because honestly, I mean, I was about to say,
exactly.
Well, yes, it does, because the Tesla. Have you seen these videos and its crash detection? Unbelievable.
With like people actually driving?
Yeah, no. With autonomous driving.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like
it can detect accidents from other people, not even involving that Tesla.
Yeah.
So it can avoid it. So like if she's about to like rear end you, the Tesla will probably fire it up and maneuver out of the way. Ugh. And Joe Rogan, I was about to say, I listen to a lot of Rogan. You do too. He has a Tesla, and he says when he gets on the freeway, he throws it into autopilot, and he just plays on his phone on the way to work on the LA freeway.
What about the where they were catching on fire?
I mean, I think it's been a while since that. Tesla's about to come out with a new truck, and Daddy's interested because the autopilot stuff's crazy, and you should really look at those YouTube videos of the crash detection. There are millions of them. Literally, it'll like beep, and the car will react.
Yeah.
And it'll be somebody else, and it's like the car will beep, 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 beep. 2 seconds will pass, and it will already detected this crash that's about to take place right next to you.
Jeez.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And that's going to be a really cool day.
I love that. Because the fact that it can detect what other people are around you are doing, I love that fact, because that's the whole thing about driving is like the other people that aren't paying attention make me the most nervous. Like I'm confident in my abilities, but and then that's the thing, if it had to be a thing where everybody has the same technology for it to be like at its most highest safety ability, how many people do you know right now driving in some piece of shit car from 30 years ago, like, because that's what they have, or for whatever reason, or, you know, or whatever, and it's like, okay, thankfully, once you're in it, you're in the highest safety rating for yourself. Doesn't matter what other people are driving.
Well, and that's why it's here. That's the cool part. It's here now. If you buy a Tesla tomorrow, you can put it in autopilot, and there's people driving jalopies out there, just really shitty cars, but it's going to actively detect anything that could happen. And if you do get hit, it's got some good safety features. I mean, it could be, you know, but at the same time, it's like flying too. That's a drawback to it, because we're so used to driving. If I have a Tesla tomorrow and I put it in autopilot, the first like several times I use autopilot, I'm just gonna be like hands hovering over the wheel, just in case, you know. It'll take me, because you have to give up control. But fast forward 30-40 years when we're like retirement age, the luxury cars in 30 or 40 years are gonna be, they're not even gonna have steering wheels. They're gonna have seats. They're gonna have seats in the front that actually like can like swivel or turn, kind of like how they were in the 60s. It's basically, they're gonna sell you, in the 60s they had seats that like swiveled and turned and shit. It was weird.
Probably killed a lot of people.
Oh, 100%. But no, the luxury.
Let's go back there.
The luxury car of the future is going to be billed and sold as a living room on wheels. Essentially, it's like, oh, you know, you got a closet with extra clothes right here. You can, you know, you got a mirror right here. You got a nice Blu-ray player or whatever the hell, you know, just OLED screens here. So on your way to work, kick back, relax, watch a movie, and you know, it's, oh, you have arrived at work, sir, and it'll park for you. Sir. But that's the thing. 30 or 40 years. Do you think that's a fair estimate? Yeah. It's gonna be like legitimate. Well, off to work, and you get into your fucking luxury car. You kick your feet
pajamas.
up. You kick your feet up, and you just get taken to work in full luxury. It's not like it's kind of like taking the bus, except for the fact it's your own private little pod.
Except there's not dirty people.
Yeah, it's just your own private little pod that you can decorate, that you can accessorize, that you can play PlayStation on the way to work.
But you don't have to play the game of when's the last time the person sitting next to me showered.
Yeah. Who has hepatitis? Door 1, please. Yeah. But that's the future, and that sounds pretty fucking awesome to me.
Yeah.
That part of the future does, yes.
But then at the same time, when you get to work, you get out and the robot parking lot attendant from Boston Dynamics says, "Put your collar on. Time to get to work.
Scan your arm."
That's already a thing too. They put little chips in people's wrists.
Yeah, they're doing it in Sweden.
Yeah, Mark of the future. Beast. The future's scary.
Mark of the Beast.
Man, fucking weird, right?
Yeah. It's in the Bible.
Here's what I found.
What the fuck?
See? Robots.
What the fuck?
The robots.
That was your phone.
That was my watch.
The robots are taking over technology. Ugh.
What is it? Was it Mark of the Beast?
Yeah.
Was your wrist touching the thing?
I was sitting like this.
Did you say, "Hey Siri"?
You know I didn't.
No, I'll say stuff and my phone will say, like, start listening to me randomly also. Yeah.
Now try...
Hey, if anybody listening would like to buy an Apple Watch Series 4, mine's possessed and for sale. So
now say something over and over again.
It's the Mark of the Beast.
No, not new. That, you fucking idiot. New York Yankees. New York Yankees. New York Yankees. I'm desperate for this to work right now, so I don't have to kick you out of my house.
Maybe it recognizes Greg's voice.
Wait. New York Yankees.
Well, that's what
Do
you did.
it again.
New York Yankees.
The Yankees.
Woo! Thank God.
Hey,
we're all okay, everybody. We're all okay.
Because you did do this.
I put my hand up hand up by my mouth, and that raised my watch, and then it listened to me.
It raised his watch like literally right to his mouth.
It listened to me say the mark of the beast, and it thought that I wanted to Google search for it.
So we tested out. I mean, you just heard it. We tested out with the New York Yankees. So hey, all right.
Hey,
there we go. We can all sleep a little.
Stress
sounder.
was high.
You know what? The realization that your watch isn't possessed, I think, is the perfect way to end this particular episode.
Yeah.
This is our longest one yet.
By it's
2 hours 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we've been missing for a while, so we kind of, just like all our episodes, we start in one place. You never know really where we're gonna end up, but we kind of stayed on the same theme throughout. So.
I'd like to know if people, what do you think about our tangents as far as that goes? Because we get off on a lot of tangents.
Yeah.
Let me know if you think your dreams are darker than mine.
They're not. They're fucking not. They're not. Ozzy Osbourne doesn't have those kind of dreams. Seriously. Like, there's something wrong. I've been saying to you that for what, years?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a fucking weirdo. Well, I mean, that was the episode 8. That was the mega-sized one. Join us next time, I reckon, and we're going to have a Halloween special coming up. That's going to be fun. I think we're going to do one more spooky sesh. And actually, the one I was thinking of is, after our Movies Part 1 podcast, we thought of a shitload more movies that we were like, oh, why didn't we include this?
Yeah.
Why didn't we include this?
Yeah.
So my idea is to keep with the October theme. We're going to do a scary movie podcast, a Halloween special, and then we're going to do Movies Part 2 in November.
Sounds great.
Because that way we can, really, and let's be honest, we're probably going to have Movies Part 3 and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah, it'll be ongoing.
And then we're also going to do some reviews. We meant to do a Joker review, but we really didn't get to it because Greg was sick and I was sick and Diana was sick. And Diana hasn't even seen Joker yet. But we're going to do some more updated stuff and things like that and kind of roll it out. Yeah. And then we're probably going to have some more extra scoops and everything like that. But otherwise, I hope you, if you're still listening, it's been 2 hours. Yeah. But no, hope you had a good time. Any closing anything from either one of you?
Sleep tight.
I guess pray for me.
Yeah.
Pray for you?
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because of your darkness?
Yeah.
If you see Greg in the streets, make sure you have a cross handy.
Some garlic, maybe. Any last words for you, Matt? Like closing? Not like last words. That was
No, I think I'm pretty solid.
So dumb.
It's the happy ending. And actually, well, not the happy ending, but it's almost like we probably could have watched Star Wars in this whole podcast.
I mean, yeah.
Ready? This is when Chewie gets the. All right. Thanks for joining us on episode 8 of the Stripple of the what? The Stripple Scoop. The Triple Scoop. I'm excited with the song. We will catch you next time on episode 9, and as always, vaya con Dios.
What?
I just made it up. I don't know.